Hey, peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope your Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, wherever you're at, Saturday night is going well. Sorry about being late. I thought I scheduled the stream for 12, but like when I was coming to check on something, I noticed I scheduled it for 11, and it was already like 11:30. So I apologize. Please forgive me. Don't beat me up too bad. Again, don't beat me up too bad. I apologize that I was late um, to the stream because, again, got confused on what time I actually scheduled the stream. So thank you for being patient with me, guys. Hit that like button again. Please take your finger or use your mouse, that cursor, and hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. We would love for you to join the In Search of a Huru family, and then hit that subscription bell as well. That notification bell. I'm sorry, that notification bell. Hit that as well. Also, documentary. Documentary is going to be released end of this month. Okay, trailer will be out next week. All right, so I'm gonna put the trailer out next week. So with that being said, there's 106,000 of y'all. I need all 106,000 of y'all to buy this documentary. Okay, I'm gonna be on you guys. I'm gonna be on you guys to buy this documentary. In Search for Huru. It's done. It's completed. In fact, trailers on here. The actual final files on the documentary, I got to re-download to a. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Documentary is done. So I would really love for everyone. I'm gonna be on everyone. Listen, I need everyone. I need your mama, your papa, your cousin's auntie, cousin's baby daddy, brother. I need all of y'all to buy the documentary when it's released. It'll be out in this month, okay? So I need everybody to buy a copy. In the trailer, I'm gonna release it next week. So I appreciate that. It really means a lot. Thank you for the support. So I'm gonna be on y'all to buy my documentary. Like I'm gonna be pressing y'all. Guys, let me switch chairs real quick. Let me switch chairs real quick. Give me a second. Okay, all right, I'm back. Yes, it's by force. It's by force. It's by force. I need y'all to buy the documentary. It is by force. Shout out to Vicky Jones in the chat room. Shout out to Vicky, um, in the chat room. Good morning, body butter plug. Body butter plug. Good morning. It's by force, so it's by force. Yeah, y'all need to buy. Everyone needs to buy a documentary, not just one copy. I need y'all to buy like three. So I need everyone to buy a copy of the documentary that's dropping into this month. Greatly appreciate it. So I'm an author, documentary, filmmaker. Next, I'm gonna be a rapper. Y'all, I'm gonna come out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna drop a CD or something next year. I'm gonna be on 18, 16 bars. I'm gonna be spitting. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna drop a CD. Okay, I'm gonna drop a CD next year. I'm rapping next year. I'm dropping a CD. I'm doing something music next year. I got to. I'm an author now. Donfo mixtape. There we go. I'm an author now. Soon to be documentary filmmaker. Next, I'm dropping a mixtape. There we go. My bad. CD. That's how old I am. Y'all know I'm 40. You can see the gray. I'm talking about CD. Yeah, MP4, MP3, whatever it's called. However they do it. SoundCloud. Um, SoundCloud, something, whatever the young folks do. Yeah, SoundCloud rapper. So I'm gonna say y'all go to my SoundCloud and check me out. I'm gonna do something. Yeah, you're right. Being a rapper is very dangerous. In fact, another rapper here in Atlanta, a rapper got killed last weekend. Another rapper got killed in Chicago yesterday. So yeah, being a rapper is dangerous. I might become, what was you gonna say, an artist. I'm an artist. There we go, artist. I'm an artist. So I'm gonna drop. I don't want to be a rapper because I don't want to go out like that. So I'm an artist. You know. There we go. Shout out to Trey Hampton, our resident FBA troll. Shout out to Trey Hampton, our resident FBA troll. Shout out to Trey Hampton. We got a couple. Trey, at least you could. Trey, listen, you can at least super chat, Trey. Trey, the amount of trolling you be doing, you can at least super chat. Trey, hit that super chat button, Trey. Trey, listen. All the trolling you be doing, Trey, hit that super chat button. Trey, you be trolling. Hit that super chat button, Trey. You need to pay for all the trolling you be doing. You have to pay for all that trolling you be doing. He said Trey ran away from Brandon yesterday. Yeah, Trey hit. Yeah, him and his what's the brother's name? Yoga. Y'all was lying about that. How the Native Americans got the land back at Brown University, and all they did was give him a memorial and a whatchamacallit, recognition, and they can have their event, multicultural week. When they have multicultural month, they'll get a week, and they could show up and do their native dances and serve their food and go home. Okay, come on, fam. Let's talk the attack. Okay, I'm not attacking. I'm just saying it was just, yeah, they threw that dude under the bus and ran. So, anyways, Trey, hit that super chat button, Trey, for all the trolling you be doing. But guys, like, share, subscribe. Oh, I got good news. Listen, this is the best thing. Y'all's president, your guys' snow god. Y'all's president, your guys' snow god. Hold on. This is the best thing. This is the best thing he's done since he's been in office. This is the best thing your guys' snow god, Joe Biden, Brandon. This is the best thing he's done since he's been in office, y'all. Shout out to you got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. White House to end COVID-19 test requirement for international travelers. Y'all, listen. Slow clap for Brandon. Slow clap for Brandon, y'all. Slow clap. We got it. Hey, listen. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. You got to give credit where credit is due, y'all. You got to give credit where credit is due. White House to end COVID-19 test requirement for international air travelers. So this COVID-19 test racket that they was running, this COVID-19 mafia racket, this overcharges for tests to enter and come out of countries that they were running, y'all, it's done. It's done. Yeah, I think so. I think other countries will follow suit. I think other countries will follow suit. So all of y'all that was, demonizing people, attacking people for, not wearing masks, attacking people for not getting their vaccine, here you go. It's done. It's over. So all this COVID. So you guys had 2 years to all this COVID fear. And guys, listen, I caught COVID. I was in the hospital. I caught COVID. But I knew this would go away eventually. Over time, I knew things would die down. But even though I caught COVID, I wasn't out here, put on your mask. Put on your mask. You ain't thinking about other people. You selfish. You ain't thinking about other people. You selfish. Put on your mask. Oh, if you ain't got your code, if you ain't got your vaccine, you selfish. Like, see, I wasn't doing all that. See, I wasn't doing all that. So guess what? COVID. I got to give credit where credit is due. I got to shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. There we go. Shout out to Brandon, y'all. Let me read this article. I'm just posting this real quick on Facebook. All right, so let's go through this real quick. Bro, they're not fighting for nothing. We'll talk about. We'll get into that in a second. White House to end COVID-19 test requirement for international travelers. The airline industry had argued the requirement for a negative test before flying to the U.S. was outdated. I agree. The Biden administration announced Friday that it's ending a requirement for airplane travelers to test negative for COVID-19 before entering the U.S. White House Assistant Press Secretary Kevin Munoz said that the U.S. would end COVID-19 test requirement for air travelers entering the country. In a tweet linking to a CNN story that broke the news, U.S. will end COVID-19 testing requirement for air travelers entering the country. CDC Gov will evaluate this need based on the science and in context of circulating variants. At POTUS, work on effective vaccines and treatment is critical to this. Munoz said the president's work, vaccines or treatments, was critical to the development, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will monitor based on the science and in context of circulating variants. A senior Biden administration official said the CDC made its determination based on the science and data that this requirement is no longer necessary at this time. The CDC will do a reassessment of this section in 90 days. The official said, adding that if there is a need to reinstate pre-departure testing requirement, including due to a new concerning variant, CDC will not hesitate to act. A senior airline source and the administration official told NBC News the pre-departure testing rules will be lifted at 12:01 a.m. on Sunday. So tonight, y'all, tonight. The move comes less than 2 weeks after leaders of the industry group Airlines for America and the U.S. Travel Association met with officials at the White House to urge them to pull the plug on the requirement they maintain was outdated. Despite the countless studies affirming that the hospital-grade onboard aircraft is some of the cleanest available and the significant increase in vaccination rates, the administration continued to hold air travel to a standard different than land border crossings. Airlines for America President Nicholas E. Calio said in a statement after the meeting, science has shown time and time again that the pre-departure testing requirement is not effective and is not stopping or even slowing the spread of COVID. Quite frankly, the only impact the pre-departure testing requirement is having is a chilling effect on an already fragile economy here in the U.S. The CDC requires international air travelers who are not U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents to be fully vaccinated before flying to the country. The administration official said the CDC still recommends COVID testing before any air travel. Bam. So there we go, guys. There we go. There we go. There we go. So that's some good news, man. That's the best news coming out of the Biden Brandon administration since he's been in office. That's the best news. Now the question is, will these other countries implement the same? You know, will they implement this? Will they move forward with this other country? So we'll see if Joe Biden is probably ending the COVID-19 red tape requirements because it will slow down the amount of Ukrainians that are about to flood the United States of America. I mean, hey, listen. I mean, let's see, and that's what we're about to get into, Trey. Who wrote that? In fact, Trey, I don't think you wrote that. Hold on, who wrote that? Abdul Sharif. And that's what we're gonna get into. Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, the radical ones, the militant ones. Listen, the amount of rules you guys want to place on immigrants and the amount of demands that you guys have on America, you had the opportunity, our ancestors, after the Civil War, to start a country of our own, to form a country of our own, which we did call Liberia. The vast majority of us decided to stay. And not only did we decide to stay, we wanted to triple and quadruple down on being American to the point where we had integration. We had our own communities, hotels, our own Negro leagues, our own everything. Trey, I can't let you troll. I'm not gonna let you troll me. I'm not gonna let you troll me, Trey. I'm not gonna let you troll me. All right, not today, Trey. We're not gonna let you on today. We're not gonna let you on today, Trey. Trey, we'll let you on another day, but not today. Not right now, Trey. I can't, Trey, I can't take it today. So, well, yeah, so we had the opportunity. Guys, hit the like button. I need y'all to hit that like button. Please hit that like button. No, listen, Trey, I know what Frederick Douglass said. I know Frederick Douglass said we should cast our buckets or do whatever, stay here in America, and we should stay here in America. I get that. But again, the amount of rules and demands and immigrants need to do this, immigrants need to check in with FBA and ADOS because we built this country. We did that. We did this. We did that. We did this. Do you know who we are? Do we know who we are? Listen, the amount of rules and laws and demands that ADOS and FBA is making. When we had an opportunity to build a nation of our own, we, the majority of us, decided to stay here in America. That's what we decided. That's what we chose. And we wanted to prove so bad that we are so American, that we are American. We wanted to prove so bad that hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Oh, let me pull this picture up real quick. Let me see if I can find it. But we wanted to prove so bad that we are American that we could we bum rushed, literally. FBA, ADOS wanted to prove that we're so down with America that we bum rush Karen's diner. We bum rush white Karen's daughter. I'm sorry. We bum rush white Karen's diner. I said daughter. Again, we bum rush White Karen's diner just so we could get a piece of her fried chicken because for some reason the fried chicken in our black communities was not good enough. So we wanted to prove so bad that we wanted a piece or be a part of the American table or whatever you want to call it. We wanted to prove that we were American. We wanted to quadruple down on being American to the point that we bum rushed White Karen's diner to get a piece of her chicken to the point where we will pop up, bum rush White Karen's diner. The racist white folks will beat our ass and kick our ass, and then we'll come back again. That's how bad. That's how bad we wanted to be American. So now we want to set rules, demands. Oh, black immigrants, y'all don't want to come into our communities. Black immigrants, yeah, we wanted to spend our money there so bad. We wanted to spend our hard-earned money instead of circulating it in our own communities, circulating it, buying the fried chicken in the black community. We wanted to spend our money so bad in their community, in Karen's community, at Karen's diner, in the white community, that we got our asses whooped. I mean, think about it. We went out of our way to get our asses whooped and to spend our money in a community that did not want our money. Think about it. We went out of our way to get hands, feet, knees, and elbows put on us just so we could spend our money in the community that did not want our money. But now we want all these demands. This group got to check in. Immigrants eating off our plate. Immigrants are doing this. Immigrants are sabotaging us. But that's what happened. We went out of our way. We went out of our way to spend our money in a community that did not want our money. That's what happened. Am I missing something? Now, I would say this, as far as having access to proper health care, that's important. Like having access to proper health care, infrastructure, I get it. But what does that have to do with Karen's chicken? What happened? Guys, I'm going to open up the lines. Call in. I'm open the lines. But we went out of our way to spend our money in a community that didn't want our money. But now we want to call shots, make demands. It don't work like that. Oh, immigrants got to check in with us. Oh, if it wasn't for us, immigrants wouldn't be able to immigrate to this country. Well, we chose. Okay, I said this before. We cannot get mad at immigrants for wanting to integrate into whiteness when we wanted to integrate into whiteness ourselves. We can't get mad. We can't get mad. It's what it is. It's what it is. Listen, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room, but with all these rules and demands, and we want this, we want that. We want this, we want that, we demand this, we demand that. They need to check into us. We had the opportunity to build our own country. The majority of us didn't want to. So it's what it is. It's what it is. Here we go. Kabaka. Go ahead, Kabaka.
Hey, Dennis, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I've supported you for a long time. I just wanted to pop on here just to address some of the things Trey is saying in the chat. I know you don't want to add him on here, but there's a couple of points he made.
Not for right now. Maybe later, but not right now. I can't.
Yeah, there's a couple points he made that I just want to address. Number one, he's constantly saying that the FBA's life of standard is better than Africans, and I just think that when people see this, they buy into the. I mean, you've been in Nigeria, right, Dennis? You're mixing it
Listen,
up.
Kabaka. Like I tell people, I have not seen what I've seen on Skid Row. I have not seen in Africa.
Exactly. And you've been in Nigeria. You know how those like Nigerian millionaires live? They got like 3 houses with
Yeah,
running water,
yeah.
electricity, compared to someone living in Flint, Michigan, right? In a cramped apartment, drinking dirty water. That's the first point. Number two, I hate how these FBA type people have this constant cognitive dissonance, right? They say things like, "Oh, we're getting dominated in America. The white people constantly suppressing us, white supremacy." And then in the same breath, they'll say, "I'm American first. This is our homeland." You know what I mean? So it's like, what is it? Is it that you're in a land where you're constantly being abused, that's a living hell? Or is it that you're American first and you're American and you're proud to be American? Because if you're proud to be American, then stop complaining. Just integrate into American society. If this is your homeland, and I don't understand why these people constantly try to come onto Pan-African spaces, spewing this rhetoric. Because the truth is if you're an American, just focus on being a patriotic American and let the people who are striving for a better existence for themselves, for their family, for their future children, let those people continue doing what they're doing. Because the thing is, people like Dynas and myself, we are not concerned with constantly trying to be a victim. What we're concerned about is building a future, building an actual future for our future generations to live within a society that is not designed to abuse them, that is not designed to marginalize them. And that's just the end of it. So that's the point I wanted to make, Dynas.
All right, for sure. Appreciate you coming on. Go ahead, Black. Unmute yourself.
You know, the main point I just want to make is that you were saying that you could have built a country in Africa that would be your own, but I was just trying to point out the fact that people were already living there, so you can't build a country in a place where people are already living.
No, so you're referring to Liberia,
Right,
right? So these are Black Americans returning home.
right. But what did they do when they got there?
They showed up, signed treaties with the locals, acquired land, bought land, and went from there.
No, they did the natives like the white South Africans did the black South
That's
Africans.
not true.
No,
That's not
Black, that's
true.
not true.
No, hold
That's
on,
not
Kabaka.
true.
Kabaka. I want you to prove, Kabaka. I want you to prove that they implemented apartheid. We're
Oh no, no,
raping.
Dynas, I'm agreeing with you.
Hold on 1 second, Kabaka. I'll let you on. That they were raping,
No, no,
killing,
you're going too
hanging.
far.
No, but
You're going
you
too far.
said South. That's what South Africans did. But that's what the
So
white South Africans
all,
did.
all I'm saying is, see, the thing is, I'm not against it. I just want it to be where you're not going to Africa with a colonizer mentality, to where
There was no colonizer.
you're gonna roll over the natives. That's all I'm saying.
How did they roll over and colonize the natives, Black?
How many presidents of Liberia were native?
How many they were elected?
One. You know what I'm
Again,
saying? So basically,
but how does that prove your point that they rolled over the natives if if the presidents who were elected weren't native? How does that prove that they rolled over the natives?
the minority ruled the majority. Is all I'm saying.
The who how does that prove that they rolled over the natives?
How does a minority run a country if they didn't do that?
But they didn't roll over the natives. Okay, define rolling over.
I'll say this: they oppressed the natives.
Oppressed how?
By treating them like second-class citizens.
How were they treated like second-class citizens?
They couldn't hold any positions in office.
That's not true. They held positions in office.
We got to agree to disagree on that.
They held, but you said they couldn't hold positions in office when they held positions in office.
So you're saying this didn't happen?
I'm saying they held positions in office.
No. So are you saying that the American Liberians weren't oppressing the natives, and it was all equal?
They weren't oppressing the natives.
It was just equal.
They had equal opportunities. Yes,
it was equal opportunity, but somehow all the presidents were happening to be the 1%.
Okay, so number one, let's back up for a second. So number one, this idea of America Liberian was something that was created in the 60s or 70s. the so-called Americo-Liberians did not consider themselves Americo-Liberians. That was something, that was a title that was given to them in the 60s or 70s. Number two, when the Americo-Liberians arrived to Liberia, many, especially the men and the women, integrated into Liberian society. You had men who married the local women. You had women who married the local men. Case in point, the Massaquoi family. Speaking of the Massaquoi family was the most powerful family, native tribe in Liberia. So, you know, this idea that they just came in, conquered, took over, you know, they were this Americo-Liberian superior group of just black Americans.
They weren't superior group, but they basically were backed by the United States and treated the natives.
How were they backed by the United States, Black? Show me the proof for the United States of America.
It's an American colony.
It was not. Show me again, Black again. I'm gonna let you take. I'm gonna bring Gaston up on. Show me where the United States of America considered Liberia their colony.
Well, the
Black, Black,
named after President Monroe.
Black, you made a statement. Show me where the United States of America considered Liberia a colony. Let's not do semantics. Well, this city was named this city was named that.
So what you saying is not an American colony?
No, because show me again. I'm telling you to show me where it was, because where the United States of America said, "Listen, we got a colony called Liberia." That's all I'm saying. And then if you show me that, I will sit back and I'll say, you know what, you're right, and I was wrong, and I will apologize.
I guess we gotta agree to disagree.
No, we don't. All you have to do is just show me where the United States of America said that Liberia was an American colony. That's all I'm saying.
On official black and white saying that's in the colony?
Yes. Just show it.
I'll have to look for that. I'm not sure if it's an official colony, but it definitely was backed by the United States.
Now you're moving the goalposts. Nigeria was a colony of Britain. Cote d'Ivoire was a colony of France. What else? Ghana was a colony of Britain. So again, show me where Liberia was a colony of the United States of America, and then I'll back up.
It's an unofficial colony of the United States.
Okay, so now you're moving the goalposts.
Would you agree to that though?
It wasn't.
No, they had nothing to do with the United States, but the free ex-slaves just happened to go there. Who worked that out?
It was a dumping ground. It was a dumping ground by a nonprofit called the American Colonization Society, who wanted to get rid of the free blacks in America because they knew that they would never give, even though black people were freed after the Civil War, the United States, white people were like, listen, we will never make these people equal to us. So so
America had nothing to do with it. Anything. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was a dumping ground, Black. I don't understand. What are you missing? It was a dumping ground. Listen, where can we take these free Negroes? We don't want them to have any rights here in America. Yeah, we want them free, which is a strategy of war by Abraham Lincoln. We're gonna dump them. Okay, take them back to Africa. Abraham Lincoln was considering taking some back to the Caribbean. It was a dumping ground.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree. But my main point, and
yeah, but we can't agree to disagree because you're wrong.
I'm pro.
No, you're again, like Mufasa said, you keep moving the goalposts. Your original argument was it was a colony of America, and all I said was
hold on.
Your argument was it was a colony of America. That's what you just said.
You said the original.
Okay, you know what? Prove it. Supply the documentation. Supply the proof, like we can. With Nigeria being a colony of Britain, India being a colony of Britain, Kenya being a colony of Britain, Uganda being a colony of Britain. All I said was just prove it, and then it was unofficial. Again, just all I'm saying is just prove it, and then I'll shut up. I'll say no, Black, you're right. It was a colony of America. Now you talk about it was a
Dynast, I don't think you'll be able to prove it officially.
But can I just say my original point? My original point was that I'm pro blacks coming to Africa and making it the superpower that it needs to be. But I'm just saying, don't come with that colonizer mentality. That's it.
What colonizer mentality?
Well, I mean, look, listen. The colonizer mentality is even with Africans. So Africans also have that same mentality. Shout out to Mufasa Shabazz in the chat. Mufasa, you didn't show up at yesterday's show. I don't, hope you're all right and everything. But I think for me, the question should be, yes, there were grievances on both sides in reference to Liberia and Sierra Leone. I think that both parties need to do an extensive look back, because Dinus had a show about this, man. Like, I don't know if you watched the show. He had the show about this, and he made a great point that, look, the Africans who went back to Liberia, they were just trying to make something out of nothing, and they didn't deserve what was done to them on at the end with Doe, right? Those grievances, I think those are internal family fights, and we as African people have to learn ways to communicate with each other and speak with each other and conduct with each other in a manner that everybody's opinion and everybody's feelings can be taken into account. So I get where you're coming from, but like, I don't think I can compare the Africans in Liberia to colonizers in South Africa. Nah, they're not the same. I mean, they may have done some things that weren't necessarily in the best of taste, but I think again, it's a family feud, and families need to find better ways to solve their problem. Like, if your brother took $300 from you, are you gonna chop off his head and burn his wife alive?
No, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Yeah, so I think African Americans and Africans need to figure out. But Dennis, this is the question I want to ask you, right?
Go ahead.
When African Americans come to Africa, see, because I always use Fela Kuti as an example, right? People don't know, and we're going to use Tariq's ideology. Fela was a tether, because his family had left, well, not leave, but his family was taken during the slave genocide to Brazil.
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, the boat got intercepted, and then they got dropped off in Sierra Leone. And then they found their way all the way back down, back to Ibadan. So, right.
But the thing is that within one generation, you can't tell that Fela is not one of the people. You get what I'm saying? So, and that was what I think Amir Rob, and he rest in peace, was trying to emphasize to African Americans coming into Africa. Like when you come there, to a certain degree, is it possible that you're going to still be African American, or do you choose an ethnic group and blend in?
Right. So gas them up. I think so. The difference between the Americo-Liberians and Dynasty Amir, who blended in, was I had the opportunity to blend in. So when I arrived to Nigeria, when I arrived to Ghana, when I arrived to Sierra Leone, there was no slave trade going on. So imagine you're a Black American, you're just freed. You're told, like, look, you got an option to go back to Africa. You're like, you know what? I want to do that because I want to escape the racial terrorism. You show up to Liberia. You still got Africans participating in the slave trade with white people. I mean, how are you gonna fully integrate? And then No,
you can't. You got to take the approach they took. You have to, right. Because and this is the part of that family squabble that people have to be honest about, right? People have to say, look, the African elites were engaged in the slave trade wholesale. This is a great book anyone can read, The Two Princes of Calabar, right? You had these two princes from the Calabar region in Nigeria who were man, these Europeans are so funny. They basically built one town up they call Old Town, and then when Old Town started getting too powerful, started making rules that they didn't like, they built up another town, gave them enough resources, told them to attack Old Town, and basically that's how the two princes ended up being sent into slavery. So to make a long story short, they asked the two princes, like, yo, when you go back to Nigeria, you're going to still deal with slaves, after seeing the horrors of the slave trade, because they were in the Caribbean. And these two morons said, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, what? You just saw what was going on with your people. And they're like, yeah, we got to do what we got to do. So I liken it, unfortunately, to like the drug trade. Right, like we celebrate this guy. No disrespect to anybody. I won't come for me, but this, I think I'm Big Meech and all these other people. I can imagine in the 1790s in Nigeria, there's probably some songs, right? Some dude saying, I think I'm, Jaja over Pobo, Nana Bishakiri, selling slaves. getting Dutch gin. You know what I'm saying? The madness of our people, man. Like we really got to really analyze what's going on with us and why we're so quick to engage with this stuff.
Kabaka, go ahead, Kabaka.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much was just going to say everything gassed him up, just articulated there. I think he articulated it really well. I mean, I think it all boils down to not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, the main fact is the Americo-Liberians had to do what they had to do because the conditions of the time, you know, made it be that that's what they had to, that's how they had to be. We can't compare the socio-political landscape of the 21st century to what was happening at that time. It's completely different times now. And as far as integrating into African society, once you move to Africa, to quote what Amin Ra said, as Gaston said earlier, is that it really only just takes one generation to fully integrate. Like you'll be African American when you come to Africa. Once you raise your children in Africa, they'll just grow up as Africans, and the children in that country won't see them any different from the other children. So those are the points I wanted to highlight.
No, and I think that's the question, and I think I can understand the apprehension for an African American, you know, with their own distinct ethnicity, their own distinct identity, to say, damn, within one generation, that may not, you know, exist, right? So I can understand, like, you know, if you come to a new land and you want to hold on to your some cultural remnants. So I guess the question is, you know, and I think Dynast does a great job. How do you navigate that? You know, how do you navigate still being an African American, but integrating yourself?
I would say, you know, it's obviously it's all personal preference and everything, but for myself, it's not something I really think too much about, because at the end of the day, I see myself as an African person. You know, right. I see myself as an African person who is just living in strange lands in America. And really, I don't see it as losing a culture. More so, I see it as getting more in touch with the culture of my ancestors. So that's how I view it as.
Yes, sir, guys. Hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Links in the chat room if you want to call in. Click on the link again. If you want to call in, link is in the chat room again. If you want to call in, click on the link. Abdul, go ahead, Abdul. Abdul, unmute yourself.
Yes, hello. Hi guys, how you doing? Guys, actually, I will allow someone else to go ahead and speak, because right now I'm in the house. I'm about to step out, and then there's the TV on for the kid. So somebody else go ahead and talk while I'm actually going to the car and get this thing set up. Okay. So yeah, somebody else go ahead and continue.
All right, for sure. All right, appreciate it, brother.
Dennis, what was that conclusion with the FBA debate with Brandon and all of them when I left the other day?
The one the other day about the Native Americans taking over Brown.
Yeah.
Nah, they didn't take it over. They didn't get anything.
They just got a land acknowledgement.
They got recognition. They got a little plaque, and you know, Brown University. Oh, we're so sorry.
I thought they filed the deed with the Dutch and the IRS.
No.
What about blacks color law? You didn't read the Black Law Dictionary?
No, that didn't happen. I wish Yoga was here, because I would love for Yoga to call me.
What about George Washington? And George Washington, none of that worked?
No, they didn't get anything. They didn't get nothing. They just got recognition, an apology, you know, cultural, like in corporate America, diversity and inclusion training, you know, cultural sensitivity. Hey, you know, African Americans, they get Black History Week and Black Cultural Week or whatever. We'll give you guys a week to come and do your dances and set up your teepees and, you know, eat your food. You know, that's what they got, bro. That's what they got. Cultural awareness.
People like Yoga are just emotional clowns that you can't take seriously. You know, they constantly are complaining about America. We're getting abused in America. We're getting killed in America. America's a white supremacist country. But they're doing everything in their power to stay in America. So it's like, at a certain point, how can I feel bad for you? You know?
Yeah. So that was the conclusion.
Yeah. No, that's like I said. It just, like you said, man. The terrorism that Black people have faced and are still facing in this country is, and then also, I was watching the Francis Cress Welsing video, the psychological toll, like the psychological toll alone. I think people really have to just ask themselves, are they willing to still deal with that, man? Like, you go into a store now, you got to look over your shoulders at any, teenage white guy, or, making sure he's not upset,
Well, I'm sorry, it's not, and I'm gonna be called a coon for this. It's not the teenage white guy. It's the person that looks like me and you. If you go into
Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, that's when you in Baltimore, Chicago, one of these inner cities, and then maybe you happen to have a blue hoodie on, and now somebody, or some nonsense like that. But that was what I was telling you in the other gem. I think it was Go Black to Africa. I was saying, like, personally, I don't see anything wrong with whatever identity, whether they want to be Native American or whatever. My thing is create an identity and literally start removing those people from your midst that you don't want to associate with. That would mean, because right now it seems that the African American identity is not controlled by African Americans. So whoever's in power tells them who's amongst your community. So this guy, NBA Young Boy, all these people, they're part of your community, as opposed to saying, no, they may look like us, but they're not us. We behave ourselves like this. We conduct ourselves like this. This is our own new thing. And get political power behind that. But when you hear it, it's like this guy, the Dixon guy, and those other people. Okay, cool. You're FBA, no problem. Support that. But what does that mean? Are the reading levels going to increase for the black boys? Are the girls going to stop being on the corners and all the negativity? I'm not saying everybody's doing that, but the negative part, is it going to change, or are you guys just going to cut that off and only deal with the positives? So I don't know.
Traveling man, go ahead. Traveling man.
I think there are a lot of reasons. Greetings. How's it going, Dynast?
Going good.
I think there are a lot of reasons that African Americans en masse will probably never go to or immigrate to Africa. One being that it's mainly psychological. I think African Americans are way too enchanted with the idea of being American. I don't think they can grasp that there's 7 billion people in the world, only 300 million live in America.
The same thing. The majority of us, we can't just imagine that there's life outside of the borders.
Exactly.
Like there's existence in life outside of the borders of the United States.
And one thing especially to note is that America is, a great land. You can eat steak every day in this country, but it's not that for African Americans. It's not the best country in the world for African Americans. If you become wealthy in this land, and as a black man, you're still subject. You're still subject to all types of abuse and whatever. Right now, I live a great life, but people who are poor, less educated, and of less moral character still try to treat me some type of way every day, and it makes no sense because I have a great life. So, and having African parents, there's many reasons on the African side. There's no reason to go to Africa. African nations aren't, the African governments are very corrupt. But I think the main reason is psychologically, African Americans can't divorce themselves from America. They don't understand that America does not love them at all. Hispanics have come to America and have overtaken African Americans. There's way too much against us on a societal level to be truly successful in this country, and I don't think they can grasp that. That's what I say.
And you know what, Traveling Man, I completely agree with what you're saying here. I think what's going to happen to kind of shift the paradigm, and what's going to need to happen, is those of us who do go back to the continent and do find success and do find our own niche and lanes to live. We just need to be more vocal about that, and I think more and more people will see that it is possible. And also, I think people also need to understand that we don't necessarily have to only be.
Oh man, we lost him. Free Game Pod. Let me unmute him. Hold on. Free Game Podcast. Go ahead.
What it do, man? How you doing? Hello?
Doing
You
good.
can hear me?
Doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good.
Okay. Hey, gas him up. You you roll with the FBA, right?
I roll like Papa was a Rolling Stone.
No, no. I'm asking because um like I said, and I'm always going to say it. Uh, yeah, my people are from America, but again, we do have a tumultuous relationship with America. Like, we don't know when to throw in the towel. It's like we the woman in that abusive relationship that keeps getting beat up, and you try to go in, Africa try to go in and save us, and we turn on Africa and start beating Africa up. You know what I mean? Because we so traumatized. Um, I think that for black men as well in America, we have better mating options in Africa as well, and being able to raise a family without being a part of the proverbial system. That's another reason why it would be more beneficial to go to Africa to raise a family, because you're not under the thumb or the cloak of white supremacy far as the system goes. Um, I think we will be able, for instance, we have to go to the grocery store every time we want to eat almost. In Africa, we get a chance to control our own food. And not being able to control your food is very, very dangerous, because they're literally controlling everything in America that we do. The media is controlled, the housing markets are controlled, your food is controlled, your water is controlled, your electricity is controlled. So we on a complete domination in America, and we just living like we not.
Yes, if I could add to that, I think there's a unique sense of denial about the reality of the situation in America, and that's why someone was allowed to walk into a supermarket and kill 10 Black people, because you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dynas, but if you're in the heart, and I'm probably wrong about this, but if you're in the heart of Igbo land, and if someone just comes in, and he's clearly not Igbo, and he doesn't even speak the language, and and he's in an Igbo market, isn't someone gonna look at him like, who are you, or where are you from, or what's going on? So there's an acute
Not
denial
not
about it.
really,
Like,
not really.
America is a democrat. Let me. And I'll finish this point. I'll finish this point. America is a democratic republic, but African Americans are 13% of the population. Yet they act like they're not at the mercy of the rest of the population. And you're 13% of the population in a democratic republic with no wealth. What are you going to do in that situation? And I'm done.
Well, I think I'll say this. My only issue is I don't know why black people around the world don't, but I know why. But I think black people have to start thinking like other groups collectively, in the sense that we have to think of it as a network, right? You look at fungus, you look at bacteria, you look at all these things. They grow as networks. They grow as a collectivity. So there's maybe not every African American will go back to Africa. That's okay, but let's put things together where we can start getting African food products and raw materials to America, right? If you can start sourcing food from Africa, that could be one way to create a connection. And then the brain capital can be going back to Africa, and the doctors and things of that nature, and the skills that African Americans have and they've acquired, they can take it back to Africa and help the Africans. A guy who does that perfectly is O'Shea Duke Jackson, right? He employs many Africans on his show, and he's out there, I believe, in Africa, does the whole production and everything out there in Africa. So I think that's how we you can look at it. It doesn't have to be everybody got to pack up their bags and go to Africa. No, but people can be global about their African, identity. No one says anything to the Saudi Arabian man or the Israeli man who travels back and forth between Europe, America, and Israel doing business on an international level. So why can't we do that? Why must we always be these local jokers?
And then I want to read this real quick. And I whenever people in the chat room point out to, well, when you gonna renounce your U.S. citizenship, man? Why you running? When you gonna renounce your U.S. citizenship, man? You running? So it says right here in your U.S. passport. All right, page 7, number 14. All right, it's very clear about dual citizenship. It's very clear about dual citizenship in America. All right, having more than one passport.
You can't listen to these people, Dennis. These people who don't even have a passport.
But
they don't have 2, 3 passports. See, you know what's funny? Jay-Z made a line. I forgot the line where he talked about we got 3 passports, 4 passports. They'll listen to Jay-Z's every drug reference, but they won't listen to the part about having more than one passport. Right. They'll listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't take like in the comic section, this dude JD, whatever his name is, JD Anthony or JD, whatever his name is. He says, "Oh, African food is banned." Exactly. African foods are banned. They do ban African produce from coming into America. That could easily be changed if African Americans can start demanding to say, hey, you know what? We want to start sourcing our foods from Africa. If the Congressional Black Congress gets on that to say, we want some of the soul food items that we're doing to be brought in from Africa, right there. That could be the same way the Jewish people say kosher. It has to be prepared a certain way.
The CBC is too focused on, if boys can use women's restrooms. That's what they're focused on right now. So.
Did you see that thing where the dude went into Masai, Kenya and asked the people, what is a woman?
Right, yeah, I saw that.
Listen, you
gotta check out that documentary. Like, what is a woman? It's really not that bad.
Oh, it's a great documentary. It exposes what they're trying to go to.
Right. Exactly. Go ahead, Free Game. Go ahead.
Yeah, we are, Black men in America are becoming a complete underclass. We're a complete underclass within an underclass. They're trying to simply erase every single thing about masculinity at this point. That's another reason why to get out of America. I mean, and this goes back to the other guy that said that the Jews was backing FBA or whatever. Dude, they literally control the media. They don't. They are all out assault on your ass. And we are a complete underclass in America. Like, we have to get out of here. Unless we can turn this thing around and fight back right now, we need to get out of here.
All right, go ahead, BD. Unmute yourself, BD.
Greetings to you, Prince. How are you? All right, all right. Greetings to everybody on the call and greetings to everybody on the chat. I'm not going to take too long. I'm not going to tarry too long on this. I'm just going to say one or two things. As we say in Mendeland, you might have heard this term, Prince, when you were in Sierra Leone. Boa, Bisie, Kawiena. I think to answer the question of the title of the show, I think there's a apprehension of African Americans going back to the country due to the fact, and this is just speculative, and a theory that I have. But one point that I think is that vibrationally, a lot of African Americans doesn't have a connection to Africa. Like, take myself for example. On my mother's side, my mother is Vi Mende from Sierra Leone in Liberia. When I go to Sierra Leone, they call me Pumoy. Pumoy means foreigner or a white man. But my mother is Vi Mende, from the land. But me, myself, being because I was born in this country, vibrationally, there's a difference that's noticeable. And I think that's one of the main points, one of the reasons, not the end or be all, but one of the reasons that some African Americans don't have an intention to go back home. So that's all I wanted to say, Prince. Alafia to you. And that's it. Thank you.
Alafia to you too. Let's see. All right, listen, we're gonna bring Trey on. I know this is Trey Hampton. Hold on, we're gonna bring him on. All right, go ahead, Trey. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I actually I come in peace though this time, but I actually agree with my man who was just speaking. You know, I think when he said vibrationally, I think that's actually kind of what it is. Like I think foundational Black Americans, we have a different understanding of white supremacy than a lot of Africans do. So we see them a little bit as game goofy when it comes to handling systematic white supremacy.
No, you don't.
I would say that just because, like, if you're Africa and you control the resources and you run that nation and the continent, then why would you let the USA have 27 military facilities in Africa right now?
Why would you let drugs come in the community? I mean, these are silly questions.
You want to answer, but
I'm gonna answer the question. Can I answer the question? Look, listen.
Why would you let 27?
Can I answer the question? Can I answer the question? Because everybody, unfortunately, is facing that same type of oppression. This is global, right? So we know that. But the same things can be leveled at your community. Why are you guys allowing gang members to come in? Why do you allow the media to misrepresent you? For example, Tariq Nasheed talks all this other stuff. Hold on, I'm almost done. We don't control it in Africa neither. But listen, Tariq Nasheed talks all this tether stuff. Nipsey Hussle is a tether. He was killed by African. Hold on. Nipsey Hussle, by definition, is a tether. FBA killed Nipsey Hussle. His father gave birth to him. His father's from Eritrea and left him. Whatever it is, what it is. That's not true. That's okay. That's your definition.
That's official FBA.com. I read it the other day.
Okay, cool. But I'm just saying the narrative that we hear from. Hold on, brother. Listen. The narrative we hear from, brother. It doesn't matter. The narrative we hear, whether it's on one website or other places, the narrative we hear, Dynas can attest to that, other people can attest in the chat, is that if you have any type of foreign blackness, you may be considered a tether, right? Now, you may disagree with that. That's okay. Let's not get dragged down that road. Sir, hold on. Sir, listen. Sir, listen. You may not agree with that, and that's okay. Let's not get down that rabbit hole. You don't have to correct me on that. My point is that this gentleman was killed by FBA, right?
No one is saying immigrant.
Okay, hold on. Prove.
You see what I'm talking about? Dynas? You can't. These people. This is disingenuous. So on one hand, everything is bad about Africa. When you start telling them, okay, let's put up the mirror and see what African Americans are not doing, then they say, oh no, we don't control. We don't control nothing in Africa neither. So stop sitting down there dividing yourself. Let me tell you something. It's easy to talk in America, the hot stuff y'all talk, right? If I put you as an African leader tomorrow, they would kill you in an hour. The little white girl from Peace Corps would put the poison in your coffee. You're not ready for that, man.
I'm not.
None of us. Okay, good. So stay in America and stop sitting down there criticizing what Africans go through. Everybody's getting screwed on both sides. Everybody's getting screwed. Nobody's eating. What are you talking about? What table?
FBA built America.
No, y'all didn't. Y'all didn't build nothing. What did y'all build?
So now that labor don't count. Got it.
What? Okay, if the labor counted, how come you haven't gotten an accounting for it?
I'm just saying, who's extracting from it right now?
No. If you built it, you're supposed to be able to create a tally for it, right? And get some sort of
white supremacy. And we built it, yes.
Okay, so it's funny how white supremacy only applies to America. It doesn't apply in Africa.
It's global, but you guys act like Africa's Wakanda, and when we're looking at USA,
nobody's acting like Africa's Wakanda. What we're saying is that if African Americans, if African Americans would come through and partner with Africans and start having communication instead of this fake hostility. Because at the end of the day, that dude in Buffalo, he don't give a damn if you was FBA or you was Nigerian or you was Jamaican. He was going to blast you. So cut the nonsense. You see when he ran up on the other white dude, he said, oh, sorry. He didn't shoot the dude that looked white. So you got to pick a side. You either on the side of your people or you gonna keep being divisive.
Wouldn't it make more sense if Africa got all the billionaires and all the stuff y'all saying for them to come handle this little bit of FBA and help us?
Again, this is why these
all
platforms
the riches
exist.
in Africa, the richest continent on the world, and all that. Wouldn't it just make sense for all those billionaires and just popping y'all all the land, everything to just come and help us?
Well, we do come to help you. We do come to help you. You call us booty scratchers. You call us booty scratchers. You beat us up in your neighborhood. You treat us like garbage. And then when we come in your inner cities, y'all don't have the structure and control. So don't sit down there and play that game.
What you're doing is like me saying, okay, y'all scam us. Y'all say we have your babies. And
more Nigerians have scammed white people than African Americans. Get out of here with that. We scam white people. Y'all don't have no money for us to scam.
I'm just saying what you're doing is the equivalent of
no. I'm just trying to tell you, Nigerians do not scam African Americans in mass. They're scamming white people.
I was making that up because I've never called an African a booty scratcher in my life.
Yeah, you haven't. But what I'm trying to tell you is, listen, Dynast has been to Africa. Everybody who's gone to Africa will tell you when you go throughout any part of Africa, right? Dynast is showing you his passport. When you go to any part of Africa, Dynast, if you go to the barbershops, who do they have on the walls of the barbershops? Is it Africans or is it African Americans?
Tupac.
Exactly. It's none but African Americans. So here's what you guys don't understand. When Africans come to America, they love African Americans. They go through inner city ghetto behavior. So they don't get to see the four gender. Hold on. Wait, listen, brother. Hold on. Africans don't want in their school system, they don't teach them about the slave trade like that. They really don't. Like anyone who's, especially West Africa. And if they tell you that, that's a lie. You ask them, okay, show me in the WIAC, which is the West African Examination Council, where they talk about the slave trade. No one can show you that. So in the school system, they don't even teach about slavery. Now, when they get to America, a lot of times they get to the inner cities. So they don't get to see the Silver Spring, Maryland. They don't get to see the developed parts of Texas. They don't get to see the parts of Atlanta that have 3 generations of doctors. The Birmingham, Alabamas that have 4 generations of lawyers and attorneys in the family. They don't really get to see that. So what they're experiencing, hold on, listen. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if I took you and your family, right, to a ghetto in Lagos, you would tell your kids the same thing. Yo, stay away from them ghetto African kids. Dynast, am I lying, or would you keep your kids around them ghetto African kids?
No, not at all.
That's my point. So this conversation has to be had. The problem is everybody's just throwing shots at each other instead of saying, wait a minute, this is a game that everybody's playing. Because if you go to Canada, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna end with this. If you go to Canada, the person who's treated like the African American is the Jamaican immigrant. If you go to Europe, they treat the African like shit. You go to France, the Africans is treated like the African American. So this is a global game. Everybody comes to you, smiles with you, and tells you you're the magical Negro. So everybody needs to communicate with that. The African needs to tell the African American, I don't got no beef with you. Let's conduct each other like gentlemen, and let's build something. Again, if the Israeli people can do it on a global level, what the hell is making you tell me you can't do that with African and African Americans?
I agree with like 95% of what you're saying. I just think that you're kind of ignoring what we're hearing on these Twitter spaces and whatnot from the Africans. Are you saying those aren't real Africans calling us these names and talking all this shit?
Bro, that's like freaking that's not even 1% of all the Africans on Twitter.
And that's the drive-by FBA. That's the gang member drive-by FBA. That's like 1% of us doing all the drive-bys. Yes,
bro. What if I pull up in Africa right now as an FBA? I take pride in being an FBA. What the fuck are you going to do to me that's not happening in America? You think I'm going over there worried about them not liking me? Well, you gonna get to like me.
Both ways.
You gonna get to like me after I put in the work, because we're gonna become an essential in the community.
Don't you think that's inappropriate though for them to just go ahead and...
Hey, 1 second. Go ahead, Chrissy. Go ahead, Chrissy. Go ahead.
I think what I'm hearing is like lack of, let's say my people perish for lack of knowledge. There's a lot of that going on. Most Black people in America don't have a passport. All right. So I think that is part of the problem. Travel is important. When you travel, you start to see things in context. Now you're talking about, Africa, they have a whole country. Why did they X, Y, and Z? Africa and the Caribbean, because I'm from the Caribbean, was coming out of colonialism. Colonialism is a time frame where we had almost a form. We had in the Caribbean, we had slavery. Africa had some forms of slavery by a different name. And then during that time, you had Europeans who were owning all of our resources. Most of us got our quote unquote independence in the 60s. Those white people continued to own those resources for the most part. We went to tables of trade at a disadvantage. So, and we're still in that predicament. We've had leaders that have come up who've moved and tried to kind of get white grasp off of our resources, and they've ended up dead. Or there are other circumstances that have happened. So it's not a situation where we just have like all these resources, we have this whole country, we're just not doing anything with it. That is not the situation. And I think understanding international economics, policy is important. I don't think most Black people in this country understand really what's going on, really Americans, period, in the world outside of this country. About 31% of Americans right now have a valid passport. And the number is even lower for Black Americans. So, I mean, you really have to educate yourself before you start making statements about why folks aren't doing things. Now, people can also say from the other side, which is a fact, that Black Americans are the richest Black people on the planet as a collective in the richest nation on the planet, right? 1.9 trillion.
Chrissy, not to interject, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Due to Nigeria, I would say that Nigeria has the richest, I would say, demographic of people as far as the Black race on the planet in Nigeria. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just
mean just as far as numbers, like that 1.9 trillion. I keep hearing that thrown around, right? In the Caribbean, if you put all of our islands together, I don't think it would make a 1.9 trillion, right? So if you're saying come here to help you, that's the part I never get. Come here to help you. Where my people come from, we don't have street lights. How are we? Think about a person from where we're from. How is someone who don't have street lights gonna come to a country where the richest Black people live, in the richest country in the world, and help? I don't understand what the expectation is, because the things that I'm hearing just don't make sense to me. So what is the expectation? What are you looking for Black immigrants to come here and do? Because we're coming from circumstances where many of us are here, we're paying for back home, we're paying for people to go to school, family members to go to school, we're helping to put food on the table, because we don't have social safety nets. We don't have time to sit and, insurance, health insurance. We don't have these things, okay? If you don't hunt, you don't eat. So from a people who are coming from that, and you're in a nation where there's social safety nets, there are grants, there are all kind of things. What do you expect from us to do when we come here that we're not doing? What's the expectation?
I could push back on one thing. I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, this panel is good. Like, I agree with what you're saying. I know what you mean. And I just have expectations that people help a little bit as far as like fighting stuff. But when you talk about foundational Black Americans need to educate ourselves, you have to understand, put yourself in our shoes as who we are as a people. If we were 98% of the USA population, we would not let white military bases and stuff come over and indirectly control us. So when we look at you guys as 98% of your homelands, and then you let white bases and stuff come in there.
But you're not, PA, so you can't.
That's theoretical.
But I just mean, and you have to understand how innately that's going to make us look at you guys like, hey, why are you guys 98% not holding it down when we can be in Baltimore, is like you say, 13% of the population, and we're throwing rocks at tanks, and we're looking like, damn, if we were 98% of the population, we wouldn't let this happen. So we're looking at you a little bit like, you have to understand, we're going to look at you a little bit like, hey, y'all are 98% of the population, get them up out of there, because if we were 90% of the population, you see how we get down at 13%.
Great, and I understand that part of what you're saying.
98%, Christy, let me ask you one question. If the Black Panthers were 98% of the USA population, would we be letting like a Chinese person beat us with a stick?
That don't happen in the Caribbean where I'm from.
No, I'm just saying, we'll be letting white military bases come over and establish control.
Well, I have to disagree with that. Let me tell you why I have to disagree with that. And I'm not trying to, pick on you or anything. At one point, if we foundation Black Americans, we Black and Native, we Black Indians, at one point we was the majority, and they was the minority, and they came over here and took over.
That's not true.
But
They-
you guys be pushing this. We black Native Americans, we indigenous to this land. So what happened? How did the white folks come out of the Nina the
They
Pinta,
teamed
Santa
up with
Maria, and the was it the Nina the Pinta, the Santa Maria, and what was the other boat that they came from in the UK?
Let's get some historical accuracies though. Let's get some historical accuracies. There was the Pacific.
Y'all claim to be the Native Americans.
Do you think that Native Americans are a monolithic ethnic group? Were there not 3 or 4 different types? There were Mongolian, which were the frontier natives. There were the Eastern Woodlands, and there were also the Manila Galleon, which in the 1600s and 1500s brought thousands of Pacific natives over from Manila, and they would go to Acapulco in Mexico. And then in the 1700s, the Spanish vessel turned them into indigenous vessels for the Spanish crown. So a lot of those Indians and Chinos, that's from Chino to Indian. They were coming from Manila, they were coming from the Philippines, they were coming from Eastern India, they were coming from China, and they got reclassified to Indians in the 1700s. And also the Mongolians that came from Siberia and went down the Pacific Northwest. So you're looking at like 3 or 4 or 5 different type of ethnic populations that are all natives. And you're talking about us who got tag teamed by the Europeans, then some of the
but they still came up and they still
real history y'all didn't know about, like the Manila Galleon and the Pacific slave trade and everything that happened. Y'all didn't know that.
Okay, so
they still walked up on us.
Let me just ask one question. Then we'll pass it to Chrissy. Then you free game podcast. So TH. So this is my question. The Black Native Americans, what part of America were they primarily situated in?
They were in the Eastern Woodlands, and a lot of it was from whenever the conquistadors brought African soldiers over to Spanish territory. We learn a lot about the English history of the East. We don't learn about the Spanish Florida and New Spain. That's where a lot of Africans came.
I asked the question.
I said Southeast, the Eastern Woodlands and Southeast.
Okay, did the Black Native Americans lose that portion of America to white folks?
Yes.
Okay, so
we got tag team with Mongol. We got tag team with Frontiers Indians and Native. And even that was intermixed. Even the Eastern Woodlands was intermixed. It wasn't monolithic.
But that goes against your argument.
No, we weren't monolithic even on the Eastern Woodlands. You're trying to assume it was monolithic on the Eastern Woodlands, though, and that's inaccurate. It wasn't monolithic. It was not a monolithic. Native American tribes would have somebody look like a Mongolian Indian, somebody like a Black Indian, somebody like an African.
TH, you said that the Black Native Americans were the.
How does it not matter? You're just assuming that we had a majority like that, and I'm telling you, numerically, it wasn't like that. Even in our own tribe, we were getting disbanded. They were even turning the people within the own tribes against us who were different, like colors and stuff and phenotypes. Like this is.
So then, how do you blame? How do you get mad at the African for what they went through? You see what I'm saying? Like we'll have sympathy. So wait a minute. Hold on. Slow down. So what you said, right? I'm not going to debate I'm not debating what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that if I can have empathy for that situation, take a little bit of your own medicine and have empathy for what was happening on the African continent, man. That's all I ask.
Look at it like numerically.
All right. You see, this is what I'm saying. Brother, listen, brother, this is the problem again. All I asked for was a little empathy, and you keep pie chart. No one's debating you. Just have a little empathy on both sides. Is that difficult to ask for?
Apples to oranges.
No one can. Man, you really hard of hearing. All I'm saying is, if the empathy that you're asking for to understand, granted, no arguments. Can you do the same a little bit for Africans?
And I'm just asking, you have to understand as a foundation.
Holy smokes, just yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes, I can. You're right. But
okay, thank you.
Now, on the flip side, can you understand, have a little empathy when we say, like, it's a little different when it's 98-2 as opposed to like 30-30-30?
Hold on. Let Chrissy go ahead, Chrissy.
Yeah. So you say that you're throwing rocks, and I'm hearing this narrative, like this kind of this warrior narrative, and I'm sure it sounds good. It sounds great, feels good, but at the end of the day, if white people allow you to blow off steam, you're being allowed to. You know why? Because all they got to do is shut your water off. All they got to do is make sure that produce does not reach the few supermarkets in your community, and you're finished. So the thing is that like there's a
And they
verse in
could
the Bible.
drop a
Let
nuclear
me
bomb
finish.
on Africa
There's a
tomorrow.
verse in the Bible that says we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against principalities. You're
Wait,
talking
could
about
they
flesh
drop a
and
nuclear
blood.
bomb on
You're
Jamaica
talking
tomorrow?
about blowing off steam that you're allowed to do.
They could drop a nuclear bomb on
Let me
Jamaica
finish.
tomorrow.
Let me finish. What we are talking about when we coming to the table, we're coming to international tables as far as trade, where we're talking about tariff tax, where we can't even trade. The Caribbean, we had a trade agreement with Europe, right? Because of what happened, slavery and etc. And your president or your former president came and demolished that opportunity. We're in a different situation than Black Americans are in.
I know we're
as
under a
country,
global system of white supremacy, and a lot of Pan-Africans act like Africa isn't.
Yeah, but the thing is that we are facing white supremacy, but it's not face to face. No one's pulling us over in a car and putting a gun to our head.
And that's why FBA look at y'all a little differently, though, because it's like, damn, they're not even they're indirectly controlling. They couldn't indirectly control us.
We have a different experience than
because
you
they have to directly control us, but they can indirectly control y'all. And so you have to understand, from our perspective, that's a little vibrationally that makes y'all different than us. They couldn't indirectly dominate us.
That's fine, but at the end of the day, you can look at us, you can look and say we're fault here, and people are saying get China out of Africa, the Caribbean, whatever. China has not come in the same way, and I'm not a fan of China. They haven't come in the same way that Europe came in, right? China came to our leaders to sit at the table to talk trade and to talk business. That is why you are seeing China. That is why I'm sorry, I'm not good at arguing because I'm talking, I don't even hear what you're saying. Just let me finish my point and then you say whatever you have to say. So they came to the table to talk trade, to talk business, and that is what's happening. Now, I don't think it's fully advantage to our advantage. And China is known, these are people who have a long end game. They'll set up themselves and they'll plant things quietly, and then next thing, things can flip on you. So I think it's a dangerous game that many of us are playing. But you have to take all of these things into perspective when you're having these conversations. To say what you would do, you don't know what you would do, because right now, again, we can come back home, right, to America. Black people in America have more money on a regular basis and opportunity than most of us in the southern part of the world could even dream of. And where is the institutions? Can you point to an institution? Since you're throwing rocks and you're the warrior class, point to
the Nation of Islam.
The nation, yes, the nation of Islam. I will give you the Nation of Islam. How many Black Americans are members of the Nation of Islam and working with the Nation of Islam?
You don't have to be a member to rock with it.
They have a blueprint.
You don't have to be a member to rock with the institution.
How rocking? I don't know what rocking means. How many Black Americans are following Elijah Muhammad's plan for economic development and societal development and moving forward with that? That would be a completely different story. It's a small minority.
Less than 1%.
Okay, there we go. So I mean, hey.
Bro, all we saying,
we got a Miss Ibarra on my Yoruba sister is on. So
okay, we gotta get her in. I love when she talk.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So let me see, what time is it? So Ekason, right?
Ekason, ṣé àlàáfíà ni o?
Àlàáfíà ni ọmọ ńkọ́. So how are you? Grand rising to everybody. High vibration to every one of us. So I think maybe we can say 10 years ago, this type of conversation is not taking place. And if it's taking place, it's taking place in our bedroom. You can't even discuss this at your job. You're going to be fired, right? Because white people don't like their feathers to be ruffled. They're that fragile, right? Now, there's a lot here. Where do we start from? If the FBAs, Black Americans, those that build the country, and the Africans, if you are not moving as one, you will be overcome and overwhelmed again. That is just a matter of fact, right? The difference between the Africans and the Black American here is because Africans still have a little bit of leverage because they are in their own country, right? They have no choice when push to come. When it gets down, they will have no choice but to come together. So the Igbos, the Hausas, the Yorubas, right now they're playing a silly games. But when it's time that somebody wants to take them over again, all of them will come, because unlike 1800 years ago, to whatever years ago, Africans have so many children outside of the country, and they are letting their people know what is going down in this country, right? Now, particularly, look at what we are talking about. We're talking about very minor things that everybody can put as. Are you telling me that everybody on this particular side right now, all of us cannot come together and say, all of us right now, we're going to start mango tree, we're building something, we're selling something. Are you saying our issue of being called Akata, because just to be sure, Akata is a Yoruba language, which means Black Panther. I am quite sure that it was a Yoruba that first called Black American Akatas. And black, it just simply means untamed cat. Untamed cat. These days, Black Americans are calling themselves cool cats. So you've been tamed. Now, we do have to understand that everything that you used to call yourself that means something, other people have bastardized it, right? They've turned it into negative. So when you say you've been called names, if Black Americans say you've been called names and they call you Akata, did anybody from Africa came to lynch you, hit your private parts? Is any Africans did to George Floyd what was done to George Floyd in front of all of us? That brother was slain down. 9 minutes. Every single Black person should have get on top of that motherfucker and hit him alive. Tear him up. We didn't do it. Do you understand me? I don't want to hear all this BS about, listen, from my point of view, Yoruba particularly, whenever Yoruba hear you, they look at you, and I think Brother Amir can tell you that. When they see you, they will look at who you look like in their family, and they will name you accordingly. They will, they love. That is their way of communicating love to you without ever saying they love you. Akata means untamed cat. Now you call yourself cool cat, so you've been tamed. You are now a house cat. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Yes. Most other Africans don't know what that name means. Many Nigerians till today still call their children Akata because those Yoruba people know the meaning of it. Black Panther. It's a wild cat. Won't you want to stay to continue the legacy of Black Panther? That is what makes Yoruba back then name Black Americans Black Panther. That is their way of communicating with them. And I could remember my dad, when he first came to the US, I believe he went to Chicago because I myself was born in Chicago. And he remembered those times. The 70s, late 60s was a terrible time in Chicago for Black people. They are massacring them. Are you saying that Africans don't feel anything for you? The devil is a liar.
No, I'm not saying that, but there's also
I'm not addressing you particularly. I'm just trying to.
I know what you mean.
To wake something in us.
But I just think that there's a part where some people on the African continent, they oftentimes deny like bullet bag. Explain the bullet bags term for us. What does bullet bags mean? What does bullet bags mean? When they call us bullet bags on Twitter Spaces.
Listen to what I'm saying to you, right? Because of what was done in Chicago 70s to Black Americans, my father refused to stay here any longer and took all of his children. You understand me? My father left. I believe my father came home in 74. My mom left in 73. All they are said during those days Many of them cannot deal with the amount of pain that they're looking at. Do any of you even know the history of Chicago? The FBI went there and just massacre. I'm talking about just killing here, just like they're doing in Los Angeles. And remember that they're not just doing everything that you see them doing here. They're also doing it in the continent of Africa, right? 1975, Muritala Muhammad was assassinated there. Every single president that became a president during those days, many of them were assassinated. You understand? If we don't get hold of ourselves and start saying, okay, no matter what somebody call me names. So when Black Americans are calling African booty scratcher, those are your people you're calling that name. In a name that you won't call this degenerate serial killer, child predator. Do you understand? A name that, there was a video that I was watching of a young black brother that was being, they just shot him. And the police officer leaned on him and said, "I'm still screaming, still yelling on the brother." And the brother have his hands up, still obeying him, right? Do you know this motherfucker right in front of all of us? He was playing with the brother's private part while he was dying. You can tell me that somebody African have just ever done any of that to you, no matter what name they call you. We need to put aside all this other bullshit. Any Africans that's calling Black American names.
And that's the problem. So the energy that people like TH have for African immigrants, they don't have for white folks. That's the point where
all of us have to understand, though. All of us, listen to what I'm saying, right? My last job, it was a black brother that fired me. I did not insult him. I understand the situation for what it is. If that is his business, maybe we can have a conversation together. But I saw that the brother felt pain of having to fire me because he knows how I work. And what did I get fired for? Because I asked for a raise. Damn well I asked for a raise. I got credential. I work hard. I asked for a raise. You fire me, it is all right. But it was a brother that fired me. I have no had any kind of envy or hatred towards the brother. He did what his boss told him to do. His boss was a white guy. The human resources, the people that ran it are white.
Nobody disagrees with what you're saying. What you're saying, every foundational Black American agrees with.
At the end of the day, forget about all that. You see, when I'm saying forget about all that, you're going to have to put the issue that you have with the Nigerians, with the Igbos. You understand? Unless they come with you at a gun and try to kill you, you have absolute right to defend your life. If you don't, I'll slap you.
Yes, man. Hey, we totally agree with everything you're saying. But Dynast, what you just said, as far as we don't have the same energy for the white man, I have to push back, man. Only because whenever
in 2022, you don't. In 2022,
you know why I say that though? I only say that because whenever Black people in America, finally Black America, we talk about white supremacy. A lot of times Africans will be like, "We're talking about the white supremacy boogeyman."
Listen.
But again, everything points back to the African immigrant.
You and I don't.
No, I'm saying that's true. They say foundational Black Americans are worried about the boogeyman. Who is the boogeyman?
Listen. At some point, we have to know we have a common enemy, whether you are Black American or you are Africans, right? So what do? Do we spend time discussing this issue? Or do you say, put those silly people aside? They're already in this country already. You understand? They will eventually, when their ass being kicked at the job and it's a white man, for the woman that married to a white man, they hope that white man doesn't turn around and kill them. The one that married to a white woman, they will hope that they don't end up in a pot of soup, because we know how white female get down when she get mad. Very recently, right? The brother that was killed, right? That young man was laying in the bed. Do you know what a tragic, what we're talking about? Somebody that you're sleeping with this person. You lay down in the bed to sleep, and your so-called lover come and stab you to death. Do you understand me? The reason why none of us should call it an abomination to be sleeping with this, the first problem that all Africans, whether you are FBA or Africans have, is for us to, first of all, keep your pants on, tighten up your skirt, put on your girdle, and stop sleeping with white folks. If we can get that out of our system, I'm not talking about ASAP. You don't have like 10 years to get it. You don't even have 5. You see how they're killing black folks all over the place. Much as they are killing black American here, they are all over Africa killing governments. How many presidents in Africa that was killed just this past 2 years? You have to start looking at, not just looking at your own situation with a narrow view, but you have to expand your view and see what your common enemy is doing. And so they call you Akata. I mean, you just have to chuck that to the side. Most Africans don't know what Akata is until they show up in America. Maybe during your movie, or because you guys kept talking about it, that you're not stop talking about it. Now, if you call them, if the Africans say they are called booty scratcher, I'm very sure Africans don't know what a booty scratcher is. Because unless you are telling that you have met 1 billion of Africans, unless you are telling that you have met 200 million Nigerians, that you can be sure that every single Nigerian has on Twitter space. I think
You know, Auntie, you know the issue.
Let me tell you, the entire time of 2021, I was watching Brother Amir's show. Not once did I make a comment, but I was watching. A lot of Africans are watching the show. They may not make a comment. It took me years of watching YouTube before I even decided to make a comment.
Auntie, let me just ask something quickly. You know, Dynas, when she says the word Akata, right? Like in Nigeria now, if you go into like the hoods, right? What do they say about ghetto people?
But gas them up. Like even when I was in Nigeria and I brought up the term Akata, like even the Yorubas don't even know what it means.
Exactly. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you where it comes from. Let me tell you where it comes from. Let me tell you what happens. You see, that's why I said when immigrants come here, they go into the inner city, so they see ghetto behavior. But even in Nigeria, Auntie will tell you, if you go to Ajegule, you go to Mushi, what do they say? Amugbo. I want area boys. You understand? That's what they say. So they have their term for the ghetto people over there too. So most of these Africans, you guys said, Dynas. So when you call it, oh, those are the Agbero boys, those are the area boys, those are Amugbo boys. You understand? So now when they come to America and they see, yo, this dude over here, Jamel or whatever, he just shot the dude 5 times. Yo, that one a wild guy. That's a wild dude. Akata. That's the description to say like, yo, these dudes don't play around. Like they wild. They gonna get down for this. That's all it is. But you know, FBA again, because they like context and they don't really try to get understanding. They're just like, oh, they call us Akata. It's like, you know, it's not what you think it is, because in their ghettos they call people from the ghetto the same name. Yeah. If you call Dynas, if you went to the village and you called somebody in your village Amugbo, they might fight you. It's gonna be a fight. You get what I'm saying? But that's what you call ghetto people in Nigeria. Yeah, I want area boys. You understand? They're gonna fight you.
Listen, do you know what is so funny about what you're saying? I went to Nigeria 2019, and the moment I got down on the ground, and I already start fighting with people. Do you understand? And none of us were fighting and we're laughing at the same time. I was telling the police that the police need to arrest the woman, that the woman is my enemy. You know, mind you, the other woman did was pee in the middle of a damn road. And I insulted her because I think she has a North Carolina tag plate. And I said, you bitch, can you do that in your country where you're coming from? Can you do that in America? You're peeing in the middle of the road? So I got out of the car, and as I was getting out of the car, right, the wrap that I wrapped around my body just came out. It turns out I was wearing an underwear. Otherwise, I would have exposed myself because I came out of the car to go and fight with somebody else, you know. But this is what we do. And particularly Yorubas. Yorubas will fight you and then talk to you and go to party with you another time. Forget about all this stuff. You know, I'm telling you, yes, Africans need to find ways to start coming together here, because I think if all of us who are Africans here start coming together with Black Americans I think that might shield you from all the terrorists that these people are committing against you. And I've already said that for us as Africans to be this quiet all this while, these motherfuckers are coming after all of us. They don't even give a shit right now. Like, they want this place to burn down to the ground. They will let this place burn down to the ground. And so therefore, when all these brothers are saying that for Black America, especially men cannot be on YouTube all the goddamn day long or any other time. Talk about what somebody call you. Listen, you don't know.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Forget about that. Listen. That's woman conversation. Listen, for me personally, there are things you cannot do around me as a man. You can't watch TV. You can't be on a game. You can't talk like a woman. You cannot get a work that is a service job, like customer service, that you're going to be talking with women. With me, I expect you to be in the farm somewhere, digging ground. Do whatever you have to. Get ready so that when the enemy comes, they need to know that a man lives here. Do you understand?
And we ask that whenever Africans come to America, you don't let politicians prop you up to say foundational Black Americans don't need reparations.
Oh my God, who says that? Who says that?
Don't just say that they're silly. You and I know that.
Wait, Africans don't say we need to get over the white supremacist boogeyman and don't start looking in the past and get over slavery? They didn't just pop up a Jamaican mayor who said we need to get over slavery.
Most of the people saying that are your own people. Clyburn, Maxine. What's the other one?
And we call them out. And we call them out too. We call them out too. We got equal support for everybody. We call them out too. We call them out too. We call them out.
Black immigrants are saying that, and they should not say it. Yeah.
Look at what I'm telling you. Listen to what your sister from our mother is saying. Right? They have no power. They can't change anything from your life. They can't move anything.
Kamala Harris has no power.
I'm talking about Kamala Harris is not. Hey, listen, that one I rejected. She's not my sister.
But hold on, hold on. Let me interject. Hold on. It was FBA, ADOS, take your booty to the polls. We strolling to the polls that put her in office.
Thinking that all, because we were confused, thinking all skin folk were our kinfolk.
No, but whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
And now we're getting smarter. Now we're wising up.
FBA, ADOS is who put her in office.
But now we're wising up, and we're seeing that all kinfolk ain't our kinfolk. All we're seeing that all kinfolk ain't our kinfolk.
And guess what? Obama didn't do anything decent for Africa. He was trying to push. He was trying to push the alphabet in Africa.
Yeah, so we're smartening up. We're looking like that.
I'm from
Here comes the Black Indian.
I don't know why Jamaicans
undermining us.
I don't know why Jamaicans thought Kamala Harris was going to do something for us. That didn't happen. These people are not for Black people, period. Period.
Black Americans are learning that all skin folk ain't our kinfolk.
You're late to the party. We knew that long time. You're very late.
Yeah, so when we call y'all out on it, don't get mad. Don't get mad when we call y'all out on it, though.
No.
Okay, while you're calling us out, that's fine. Make sure you're calling out the millions of your own people.
We do. We have coon train awards and everything.
If you were, you wouldn't have time for the 1 and 2 Black immigrants who are saying things, because there are millions of Black Americans here who are not quote unquote on code. You can find them everywhere you go.
That's absolutely. And we call everybody on code out.
So you can't do so much at the same time. You can't. You have to focus on one thing and master that first.
No, we got smoke for everybody trying to undermine us. We got smoke for everybody trying to undermine us.
You look crazy. You can't do it like that. You look like the people in the street talking to themselves.
Because you're in America.
You have to be organized.
You don't need to tell us how to do politics over here. We can call out anybody trying to undermine us. We don't need you coming over here.
Yes.
You could have just done that fix Jamaica and then let us handle America.
Okay, but guess what? You're the one complaining. You're not being successful. I'm offering my
and you're the one telling us to stop, and we're saying we're not going to stop calling out everybody undermining. We're not going to stop calling out people that undermine.
You're not. You know who you need to be calling out? The alphabet people.
You need to focus on Jamaica, and we'll let us handle America.
I'm here because in 20 years, half of your Black boys will be wearing dresses. That is an emergency. You are
Emergency.
focusing
Yeah,
on
I
the
know.
wrong
Nelly Fuller
thing.
told us that too. A foundational Black American let us know that
Okay,
40 years ago.
and being emotional and hooting and hollering on the internet is not going to change that. There needs to be some serious organization happening right here.
Hold
I mean,
on,
it
You're in
seems
the
to be
wrong
okay.
place.
now, hold on, but let me guys, go ahead and mute. Let me play this real quick, and then Rich King, I'll pass the mic to you. But hold on, let me play this real quick. Your girl, listen, FBA ADOS were the loudest about putting her in office. But hold on, here go you guys' queen. Hold on 1 second.
Resulted in the greatest disparities. And we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Hold on, did you see the? Hold on, did you see the? I ain't gonna do something that just benefiting only Black people. But
yeah, Black Authority plays this all the time. Tariq
but
plays
this
this all
is
the
who y'all
time.
voted for. This is who you guys voted for.
And now we're learning, and you can't get mad at us from learning from that.
Let me run it back. Hold on. Yeah, let me run it back.
And that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
She's a forever bitch.
I mean, TH, when it came to doing something specifically for people, she did she grabbed
What she
hair.
should have said is everything that is good for Black people is good for everybody. That's what she should have said.
So aren't we right for being weary of immigrants now?
Which immigrant?
What's TH? It's too late, bro. It's too late. All right, it's too late.
How is it too late if we're doing it right now?
Yeah, TH, you should have thought about that.
It's never too late, bro. It's never too late to change how you rock politically.
It's done.
So we should stop tripping off immigrants doing that?
It's done. It's over. It's done.
Wait, so we should stop tripping off immigrants doing that?
Nobody is saying that, though. What I would say, still what this sister just finished saying, every single Black man, there is a crisis. There is an emergency, right? We have these people passing law saying that it's okay for your 12-year-old to go and cut off their private part. That's an emergency. It's still in this system. Africans are not doing that to you, though. Immigrants are not doing that to you. It is the same people who have spent the last 3, 4, 500 years destroying your image. Listen, now, many Africans understand what is going on now. Many of them don't want to take their children to school anymore. I'm telling you right now, listen, it is I'm just as offended if I see anybody insulting Black Americans as you are. Yes, because you are insulting those that look like me. I'm telling you right now, as a Black man, the original man, right? The protector of the planet, you have a moral obligation to come together with other Black men and take control of the community. Period. I don't care if anybody call you a bully scratcher, a cutter. We need to get down right now and make sure that these demons don't take our children completely away from us. In that way, if that's what you are fighting for, Africans have no choice but to join you, because they don't want their boys to get on to wear skirts, and they don't want their girls to become lesbian. Maybe you have not noticed, particularly Nigerian loves to have traditional wedding all the time. You know, they love their weddings, so they are not trying to have children where they're not going to have any. They're waiting for that wedding. They spend their entire life waiting for their children to get married. So I will tell you that what we need to do, we're not doing what we need to do. Whether you are Black Americans, but whether you are Africans, if Africans keep hiding behind their closet, many of their children will start coming home wearing skirts, and that's a fact. Because many children are being molested in school, are being raped in school, are being abused. There should be no way in 2022 where we have any person white teaching our children. That's what you need to worry about. I'm telling you.
Okay. Hey, Rich King, go ahead and mute yourself. Rich King, go ahead and mute yourself.
What's up, panel?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, how you doing, brother? I just really listening in, and I wanted to say that that we must acknowledge that not just African immigrants, but all immigrants, you know, understand that when they come to America, that their task is at hand is not to upset the white people. You know what I mean? Because that will mess with their financial position in this country. So when you hear them talking about Akatas, that's not just a saying or something like, because they have a song also about that, and it's a
Who has
video
a
on
song?
YouTube about that.
Who has? I mean, how many? I mean, who watches this stuff? How many views does this song have? Like, I've never heard an African running around singing the Akata song. Like, put it like this: I hear FBA ADOS running around saying "nigga" more than I hear anybody saying Akata. Like, where is this coming from?
That's a fact. That's
Twitter faces.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, but
yeah.
I'm saying you can go on Twitter Spaces right now and hear probably like 400 different African callers saying crazy stuff about Black Americans, and that's not just like only them.
But this is the thing. I don't spend my time on Twitter Spaces just to hear so-called Africans saying Akata and making songs. Like, why do you spend your existence listening to this crap?
Because these are the people that come over and then tell us that we need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps while they're sitting there getting patted on the head.
We do.
But they have to understand.
But TH, to Chrissy's point, are you saying that FBA at ADOS aren't getting more pats on the head than immigrants?
I wouldn't say that. I say we have smoke for everybody with the new Black media and the new what we're trying to establish as far as just FBA and this like the delineation and everything of delineating ourselves is we're really trying to get on code and do the whole B1 secure the tribe, because this is an issue, man. Like, we have to call out people that are off code, like no matter what, because you can't compromise at all because it's dangerous.
And another thing, you know, I must say that, you know, I've been listening to the Tariq, podcast, and you know, I've been hearing the African immigrants, you know, calling in, even from their home countries, and they're calling in and they're saying, you know, a bunch of derogatory statements about us. And I noticed that once Tariq was talking about the reparations, whether we get it or not, but I noticed that a lot of the African immigrants figured that if we get reparations, that the white American population will be mad at them also. And that's what a lot of that boils down to, is us getting compensated would have them upset at them and would probably shut down that pipeline from them coming from America, you know, immigration to Confederation.
I would like to say, I think this whole, like, you know, oh, they're talking about us, that this whole like overemphasis and concern on it is a self-esteem issue.
Exactly.
Because when we talk about people who have been, pardon my friends, shitted on a lot, I can tell you in the Caribbean, Haitians have got it the worst, from Jamaicans, from Dominicans, from Americans, from every group. Haitians have been treated like doo-doo for centuries. But Haitians are the most proud people I have ever met. That you cannot break their spirit. There might be some poverty going on. They might be in desperate situations, but who they are, they don't give a damn if you like them or not. They are so firm in who they are because their self-esteem is intact. So what is really going on here with this conversation? Why the overemphasis on who like you and who don't like you? Who cares if you like yourself?
We're just saying, don't come over here and pull a Kamala Harris. Don't come over here and pull an Obama.
Don't
come over here.
No, but nobody's doing that. Kamala is one person, Obama's one person. Exactly. Most Black immigrants who come here don't get in politics.
Rich King heard the same stuff I heard. There's a lot of Black immigrants that don't want us to get reparations. There's a lot of Black immigrants.
How many Black immigrants do you know, brother? Because I don't know that many. And I'm a daughter of immigrants. How many do I know? I don't know that many. So you see how Black people we treat each other? We still treating each other with generalized. A lot of Black immigrants. How many do you know? Right? I'm in this country. How many Nigerians do I know? I'm a Nigerians. How many do I know? How many Igbos do I know? How many Ghanaians do I know? How many do you know? Have you met every single? You said they're on Twitter, please. Do you know how many how many Africans are in this country? Are you saying All those Africans are on Twitter spaces.
No, we're just saying whenever we hear it, we're gonna call it out. That's it. When we
Forget
hear it, we're
about
gonna
name
call it
calling.
out.
Listen,
When we hear it, we're
white
gonna call it
America,
out.
listen to this. Listen to this. You're gonna have to make two comparisons for me. White American call Black American names, right? But they didn't stop there. They burned down your house. They burned down your businesses. They kill an entire generation of people. They put you in prison for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Name me a single, listen, name me a single, other than name calling, where an African person have done the same thing to you. I'm talking about what they've done. You're going to show me a video, a picture, other than name calling, where a Black person or an African person have done exactly what white Americans have done to you, are continuing to now do to you. I'm talking about that because at some point you can't compare. You are minimizing the issue. You're maximizing the minimum according to Dr. Martin Luther King, and then you minimize, right? You flip it however you want to flip it. You're going to have to say, all of us, whether you are Black American in this country, Africa in this country, the only thing we were allowed to do to each other is destroy each other, is insult each other, go after each other. That you can do. You can call yourself a Buddhist, Kasha, a nigger. You can kill each other without a single notice. It's okay. But none of us have that smoke for the people that are killing us right this minute.
I feel like we can call out everybody.
Somebody call you a Buddhist, Kasha. What can they do to you? Somebody call you Akata. What can they do to? What can they calling you Akata?
Let's get off of the name calling for a second and go to AB 3121 in California, wherever we're talking about a debt owed to a specific population, an ethnic population in America for reparation. And there's actual immigrant groups or groups led by Black immigrants that are making appeals to try to get in on it. In field order number 15.
Hold on. Show me the proof that there are groups trying to get in on it. Show me the proof. Put it in the private chat.
Oh wait, I'll show you right now.
No, put it in the private chat. Put the link.
Yeah, okay, I'm about to go do it right now. Keep talking. I got you.
Okay, hold on, Mo. One second. Mo, go ahead. Mo, you're Mo. Unmute yourself.
Ahead, Mo. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I'm an African myself. So yeah, it's again looking at the subject title. It's interesting to hear both from FBAs and Africans. But in my opinion, all I'm seeing is basically arguments between people who have the same objective. Is basically who is the tallest midget. If you understand the meaning of it, you're basically fighting about who's the tallest midget or who's the strongest weakling, instead of actually seeing the objective that's ahead of you. Africa right now is the wasteland of you in the entire world. People are plunging its resources and taking it to other countries, and then acting like they're giving kindness by giving and returning the things they took back to Africans and showing it as charity. No, it's just returning it. There are so many problems going in within mainland Africa that, again, our problems should be aligned. Our focus should be aligned. We should be aligned in our objectives. But the problem is there's these little things that separate us. Again, I'm not. I wouldn't really identify myself as even though I'm an African. I want the best for my continent. I will strive to do the best for my continent. But finding out the true definition of Pan-Africanist through my experience, I don't really identify myself as a Pan-Africanist due to some experiences I've had in the past. But I do want the best for the continent of Africa, and I do want the best for the people who originated from Africa. But the objective is, how do we achieve that? How are we going to achieve this as African people? You see, this is the problem, right? We use little things like simplistic words to try to make more divide than there already is. You understand? Europeans have an objective, even though they've had wars, even though they've killed each other, they massacred each other, they still have the same objective. You know what aligns the European interest? Is the downfall of Africa. Africa is the only continent in the world that can sustain itself. No other continent can do that. So that's their interest. That's their common goal. No matter how much they fight each other, no matter what they do to each other, they will still remain in their objective, or they will still remain true to their objective in keeping Africa in the situation that it is. That's why they're so heavily invested in creating colonial borders. What's it called? Puppet governments, CIA doing whatever they're doing. I mean, there are so many things that they do into the continent of Africa, and we're bickering about words.
Yo, Donis, check the link, bro.
So yeah, I just have to I just have to say that yeah, you guys can take over. If you have any questions, I can answer it. Thank you for having me, by the way, Uru.
Oh, no problem.
Hey, Dana, may I chime in for a second?
Go ahead.
I just want to say it ain't all about the name calling and everything. It's more about the structure of things. Now, in America here, Black American, white supremacy is a problem for us. But what I'm starting to notice is that white supremacy is a solution for all immigrants. So to come here and actually, it seems like they're joining forces. It's actually like it's a coalition between the immigrants and the white supremacy system.
Rich King, Rich King, hold on, Rich King.
That's what's real.
No, but Rich King, this is the issue. Okay, at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the Civil War, Black Americans had the opportunity to separate from America and build on their own. They said no. To the point that during civil rights, Black people wanted to integrate into whiteness. We had our own communities, we had our own everything. It wasn't good enough. We wanted to integrate and partner with white supremacy to the point where Black people are bragging about fighting for the U.S. military in every war, with being in the lead, being in the charge of, you know, leading this white supremacy U.S. military, which you know, dominates and puts in its puppet leaders all over the planet. So to act like FBAs on a higher moral ground when it comes to partnering, or you know, higher moral ground when it comes to partnering with white supremacy than African immigrants, it's not true.
We're just telling African immigrants don't fall down the same trap that we learned from, because we have a different relationship with white supremacy. We're directly up under it, and then we see like, oh, hey, y'all coming over here with that attitude, it don't work.
Okay, so listen, TH, so I got your link here. Again, this is just all hearsay. Like I said, send me something.
No, can you read what Can you read what the link says though?
I could read it, but again, you guys send information.
You want me to read it? You want me to read it for your panel for the panel?
TH, hold on. I'll allow you to read it, but again, I want you to show me where there are a group of Black immigrants in California, and they've started their own survey or you know, amendum or whatever, saying that, listen, Black Americans can't get reparations. We got to be a part of it. That's what I want to see. Like, this is all hearsay.
You're talking about one or two people.
Wait, no, I know what you mean, but what I'm saying is like what the link I sent you to read.
Okay, so if you know what I mean, that's what I want.
But I'm saying I don't think you understood what I meant by that. Is who when the link I sent, who else could that possibly be talking about?
No, but again, I want you to send me proof of Black immigrants collaborating.
Who else could that be talking about?
No, okay. I want you to send me a link or information of this underground secret Black immigrant community or
who are working with white people.
Who else would be trying to force California to undermine the lineage element?
But you have no proof. But you have no proof of that, TH, from what you said.
Brother, you're talking about as if you don't know what happened.
Oh, you can look on Roland Martin's channel right now, and then you'll see Black people on there right now that come from immigrant backgrounds on there saying that they want to make it race based.
My brother. Listen,
they're saying they wanted to be race-based and not lineage-based, and it was Field Order 15 was for foundational Black American families only, not Black immigrants.
Brother, I mean,
and there's Black immigrants on Roland's show, on Greg Carr's show, all type of shows right now, and panels saying it should be race-based. They're trying to tether themselves to something that was specifically for our group.
This question is for you and all your panel. Is this a panel? Is this for the first time that somebody is trying to undermine what the FBA?
No, we just have to call it out though. It's reparations right now, and they're trying to link to it. They're trying to link themselves, saying, "Hey, it should be anybody race-based."
Though, that is why I'm saying that you all have to come together and act as a single unit.
No, they didn't do it to everybody. They just did it to foundational Black American families, and then people come in and say they want in on it. Why should they be in on FBA reparations?
Listen, my brother. Well, listen. Did you hear me say FBA? Did I say that I'm FBA, that I need to get part of the money? No, not at all. When I said what is good for Black America is good for everybody, I'm talking about as far as the law that protects you, so that
So
they're
why
not.
would somebody fight it being lineage based?
Listen to my brother. Listen. You and I know that even in police department, they hire a lot of Black folks who are the chief, who are the lieutenant, right? But they still sought white supremacy to kill Black people. Is that not true? Similarly, you already should know that the moment they say that they want to give FDA something, you know the same people that claim that they want to give you something, we already have some other lunatic on the side claiming that they want part of it. You already know that. And the fact that you here, instead of all of you that are foundational Black America, you should already have a single registration that all of you come together. Yeah, this is where we are across the country. We are acting as a single unit.
We're working on that as we speak. We're working on that as we speak.
You have to do more than just working on it. Somebody should already have a registration set up somewhere where every single Black American should already register their name. You register and you act as a single unit. That will negate this type of behavior by anybody. It will negate African behavior in the same way. It will negate these Mexicans. Now, by the way, as much as you guys are claiming that Africans are coming against you, they just gave Asians reparation. They gave them the protection that has been given to Black Americans, right? Mexicans are getting reparation. So I'm still going to say, it is good that we're having this conversation, but this is minute. It's like 0.00000 in what you need to deal with.
I agree that generalizations do destroy this conversation. You're absolutely right.
Listen to this. What is most important? They're taking your right away to be a man. To be able to be a man, not just in this country, to be a man in the community that you are coming from. Anytime you walk out of the house, including 18-year-old can walk up on you right now and kill you, and you don't react. I'm going to say something right now. That boy, when he went to Buffalo to go and kill those people, there are Black people over there. They should have killed him right then and there. That boy should not have been able to walk away alive, period. Period. There was enough Black men there to kill that boy that day. Why didn't they do it? What's holding you up?
Because we're just so dominated militaristically over here.
Listen,
that's just true. That's just true. If, like, we know Black people know what's going to happen to you. If you hey, come to America and act crazy and see what happens to you. Come to America, act crazy, and see what this USA government will do to you. The same way nobody broke Mandela out of prison, and then he was sitting in there for 20 years.
My brother,
y'all should have broke him out.
This is not me insulting you. I promise you. Shame on me if I insult you. Shame on me if I'm making you feel bad in some way. I'm telling you that Black people have to act as a single unit. And the way to do it is but if you want to start some type of a registration that everybody is coming together as a single at just one time, that if you hurt one, you hurt all. That is the only way you can deal with some of this issue of being saying some white supremacy are dominating you. Period.
So TH, let me ask you a question, TH. Then we'll information man show. You got to click on a link. TH, so where's the FBA ADOS registry where you go in, submit your paperwork? You know, you got somebody who will confirm that this individual is FBA ADOS. Where's the national registry, TH?
They're working on that right now in California. They just decided now they need to have an actual system now in place that's going to help us with genealogical records and everything. And on truth be told, a lot of foundational Black Americans, we know who we are. We know we were here before 1900. So it's not like we really need. California is putting that in place. So if you would have watched like the last panel, that's one of the things they talked about was to make sure that people couldn't claim to be FBA who weren't. And then to make sure that people who were FBA were, they can just check your genealogy because a lot of us go back right before 1900, and that's the cutoff line. Like I can pull up an 1880 census with my great grandma on it, like right now.
Okay, those are pictures. I'm talking about actual paperwork and
No, an
documents.
1880 census though. Like we're on it. We're on it.
Okay.
You know what's amazing to me? We're here arguing about money that the white man hasn't even agreed to give you. Like, this is a little insane. White people have
We don't need
agreed
defeatist
to
attitude and defeatist
pay
energy right now. We don't
monetary
need a defeatist energy right
reparations
now.
to black
We don't
people,
need
to
defeatist
black
energy right
Americans.
now.
No, but that's what it is. How are we undermining something that don't exist? White
We're
people
trying
have
to get it
had
afloat, and then this
opportunity
energy you're saying
after
right now is what we
opportunity
need. This
to
energy,
give.
we don't want this in
We
the
haven't
room.
agreed,
Hold
but
on,
it's not
hold on,
energy; it's reality.
Chrissy, if I can interject real quick, Chrissy, have you like studied what they, I guess, deem as reparations that they plan on giving to the ADOS FBA in California?
The report will be done next year, so we're working right now to stay
hold
on
on. Chrissy, have you like read what they? Yeah, have you read what they're actually considering giving to ADOS FBA?
I saw an article where they were talking about education grants, but I didn't see anything about like actual monetary payments.
No, but here's the act. This is the insult. They want to raise. So one of the initiatives was to raise minimum wage.
Oh wow. Add insult to injury.
Framing the reparations campaign as like a 1 year, 2 year thing. This might be like a 40, 50, 60 year thing. We have to stay on people. It's not like, I'm just being real. I'm just being, like, it's funny, but it's like to think that like, it's not going to be a continual fight against white supremacy and to a millennia, like it went on the continent and the United States. They have plans for us that we don't even understand on the continent and here. So we're going to be in a fight forever. We might be fighting reparations like holistically forever. And just little by little get justice, little by little, the same way we've been doing as foundational Black Americans. This isn't some like 1, 2, 3 year thing where we're just a lineage for right now. No, we're a lineage for here to forever.
I understand. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for the reparations, what is the plan for the next generation of FBA in this country? The youth, the teenagers, they're suicidal. The black male suicide rates are through the roof. What's the plan for now? Because they cannot
We're
wait
gonna do what
for
you're doing. We're gonna
reparations.
do the same thing we're all doing. Scramble for change, try to get a job, try to build wealth, and then just sit here as the bottom tier until we get something to crack, like everybody else has to do. It's not that hard.
And then what if that doesn't happen, right?
Then we end up like Jamaica, and maybe we'll flee over to somewhere else.
No, you don't end up like Jamaica, because at the end of the day, Jamaicans are on the ground controlling Jamaica.
I'm gonna get in my
Even
boat. I'm gonna get in my boat.
we are at an international disadvantage. You don't end up like Jamaica because we manage our water system. We manage our food system. You don't end up like Jamaica. So that's a bad plan. So you might want to go back to the drawing table with that one.
Okay, then we'll flee to Jamaica and then just be over there. If in 50 years it don't work, we'll just flee over to Jamaica, and then when y'all get something cracking, we'll be like, "Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Why you want to do that?" And then we'll just be annoying to y'all.
My friend, there's some emotional stuff going on here. It's just
because you make no sense. Like, everybody else got to get a job, get money. That's the goal. What else can you do?
You see, I agree with some points that were made here. Again, in terms of the FBA reparation, I'm not gonna say anything on that, and it's just for FBAs to decide. So I want.
Hold on. Let me interject real quick. Somebody brought up a great point in the chat room. Joe Biden said that, and this is what he said. He said in the next 20 years or whatever, you guys will answer to Latinos. That's exactly what Joe Biden said. So y'all will answer to Latinos. That's going to be next.
I think that. Exactly. May I speak for a second, Adonis?
Huh?
May I interject for a second?
Yeah, then we're gonna pass the information man show.
Okay, on that point right there, when people hear Joe Biden say when his speech actually when he gave, he said, "Man, in the next 20 years or 30 years, you would have to work with Latinos." I don't think he was speaking to black people. I think he was speaking to white people in conjunction with them actually dying out.
Rich King. Oh no, hold on, Rich King. He was literally speaking to Al Sharpton and the Congressional Black Caucus, and that's exactly what he told them when he met with them.
I'm not sure that
Rich King, he was Rich King. Joe Biden was the only white person in that room. It was none but black people.
True.
Black leadership. He told them. That's what he told them. He told black leadership, like, look, y'all gonna be dealing with the Latinos in the next 20. Y'all need to start working with them now.
Yeah, Donis, you're right. I know what you mean. You're absolutely right. But that just goes back to what Rich King was saying about it's all immigrants. You know, we're not just talking about African immigrants. Claude Anderson said we need to shut down and we need to study how many ways immigration has hurt Black America, and that's what we're starting to see.
But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm sorry, ADOS, FBA, you don't control anything. You don't control who comes in out of this country. Hold on, Missy Barr, when you and your father immigrated to this country, did you guys have to meet and deal with a white man or another immigrant, or did you deal with FBA ADOS when you went to Ellis Island to get your your residency card or your passport or immigration card or your green card? Who did you have to deal with, Missy Barr? I guess you don't hear me. Missy Barr, can you hear me? Missy Barr.
I don't think she's up here, bro.
Hold on. Let me bring Chrissy back on. Chrissy can answer. Hold on.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Chrissy.
I didn't hear the question.
All right, Chrissy. So, Chrissy, do you currently live in America?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let me ask you this: when you and your family immigrated to America,
Mhm.
all right, the first point of entry to get your green card or your residency or your whatever. Did you have to deal with a white person or another immigrant, or did you deal with FBA ADOS?
Mostly white people in the immigration office in the United States, or
Right,
you mean like back home?
No, in the United States.
In the United States, yeah, they're white for most part.
Okay, so again, Rich King, TH, like it's just you guys don't call the shots, man. I'm sorry, like that's
I never said we called the shots, sir. I never said we called the shots.
You guys don't determine who gets the.
All we can do is ask that people don't undermine. That's all I understand. You're right. All we can do though is ask that, like, we took bricks to the head to fight for the civil rights movement, thinking we were bringing reinforcement, and all we can ask is that y'all don't undermine us.
You took bricks to the head to integrate into whiteness.
I mean,
undermine our own selves.
so how did the Immigration Act get passed?
TH, aren't there bigger goals than focusing on smaller things like this?
Honestly, Claude Anderson said, I'm a follower of Claude Anderson. He said, without reparations, he said it's like 20 years ago, foundational Black Americans will be a permanent underclass and we're done. He said we need a nationwide campaign for reparations. And he said we need to study how immigration hurt Black Americans. So to me, it's the biggest issue we could fight for.
Okay, Information Man Show. Go ahead, Information Man Show.
I want to say a few things to people on the panel. I want to know, just as out of respect, who on the panel actually lives in California?
I used to.
So, okay. So nobody lives, everyone's talking about California, but nobody lives in California. I've been living in California a majority of my whole life. High school, elementary school, college, lived in San Francisco, Oakland, live in the Bay Area. And I want to correct a few things for folks on this panel. I'm involved in the reparation movement in California intimately. I'm going to a rally. We're having a rally in Sacramento, California tomorrow to address this issue. And if you don't already know, one of the bills have already passed. Everyone keeps talking about AB 3121. That is the prefaces of what started this whole thing in California. AB 2296 has already passed in California. What is that? Now, for everyone who's saying, oh, we're hating on immigrants. No, the reason why specifically they made the bill in California specifically based in lineage, meaning people who came out of the hells of those plantations in the South, people who have lineage in this country who were born here with family members who came out of that experience, is because in California, it is illegal. It is illegal. You cannot do it under our laws in California. You cannot create a bill and just say reparations and it goes to everybody and their mama and daddy. It has to be lineage based. So the reason why, for anyone who's wondering why the bill is set up the way it is because in California, you have to. If you look at, we have Native American people here. We have other groups here in California who get money. And how they get the money is they make it lineage based to their particular movement, whether it be the LGBTQ community, whether it be the gay community. We have a lot of Asian and Pacific Islanders here who are getting money out of California for their Pacific plight. The Japanese, as you know, got money because they were looked at as an enemy of combatants during World War II, and they were putting internment camps here in California, and they had property taken away from them. So they had a bill specifically tailored to them. So when we went over this in California, we followed the law. So this bill in California has nothing to do with hating on immigrants and pushing you to the side because it's the law in California. I don't know what it is in other states. That's it. So that's in that bullshit right there, because I'm in California and I'm involved in this movement at the intimate level. So it doesn't have nothing to do with anybody hating. Let me finish what I'm saying, please.
Go ahead.
I don't mean no disrespect to you, Dynast. I just want to get these points out.
Go ahead.
So it has nobody in California in the movement that I'm a part of is running around hating on immigrants. We're not running around saying we got to stop immigrants from getting this money. We're just simply following the laws. And so right now in California, we have a governor who's in favor of it. We have a committee. We are doing more in California towards reparations than what they're doing at the federal level with the HR 7040 bill, which is going nowhere. It's a stall tactic. They're not doing anything with it at the federal level. But in California, we're more progressive as a state anyway, whether you like liberals or not. We're just more a progressive state, and we have a progressive movement going on here. And so we're going to get more traction on this, and this could be used as a blueprint for the federal level if they can ever get their shit together. So I don't want to spend my time hating on my brothers and sisters in the diaspora of the world. They're not my enemy. My enemy is the pale face man. That's my true enemy, not black folks who come from the Caribbean or Africa. So I'm not going to hate on you. However, I do think that we need to have better relations between each other because we don't understand each other's history. I don't understand the history as well as I should of our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean or in the continent of Africa. And the problem is you don't understand our history. And that is why when you come over here, sometimes there's a disconnect and a mistreatment between the two of us. OK, it's not just one of us, between the two of us. But that's how they set it up. They wanted to divide and conquer. You can go back to Jimmy Carter's administration when he had that memoranda. What is it? 46, Dynast? And the memoranda 46 in the 70s was designed to keep black Americans disconnected from Africans in the continent to keep us at each other. And so all we're doing is playing into the enemy's tactics right off the bat. OK, now let's keep it real. We know that those in the Caribbean and brothers and sisters in the continent of Africa are fighting against the British to try to get their reparations or get their land back. The Caribbeans are doing the same thing with CARICOM. And you don't see, I'm just being honest here, you don't see black Americans interfering and criticizing other black people in the world who are trying to get their bag for what happened to them. So all we're simply saying is this has to do with a struggle that we have here on this land. We just don't need people creating interference into what we're trying to do because we don't create interference into what you're trying to do. All right. And keep this in mind. One of the reasons why a lot of our brothers and sisters, as well as other immigrants, have been able to come to this country because it was black people doing that civil rights movement. It was black people, even though we didn't want to, even though Dynast is saying that a lot of us had an opportunity to leave this place, but we decided to stay here. Keep this in mind. A lot of us, where our politicians were the ones who put forth an effort to make it possible for immigrants to come over here in the first effing place. And that's where black Americans feel disrespected because it was our ancestors who paved the way, who went through a lot of shit here to make these streets somewhat safe for people to come over here and get the benefits like go to school, right? To be getting equal rights to job opportunities. It was my ancestors who paved the way on this ground in this country for immigrants, no matter who you are, to gain some benefit. Whether you go to our historical black colleges, you're still getting some benefit. Even if you're taking the bag back to your country, you still got some benefit over here. OK, I just want to be respectful in that manner because we all need to respect one another and our history and just respect that and get along and stop going at each other. Whether we get reparations or not, it still doesn't mean that we can't chew gum, ride a bike at the same time. Black people are multidimensional. So I'm not silly enough to think, okay, I'm just going to get this money from the government, right? It's going to drop in my lap so I can just stop what I'm doing. I'm going to still do what I do as a man, work, take care of my family, and at the same time, fight for this. My idea of reparations is not what I'm going to get personally, but it's what my children and my children and children could get down the line. If black people had that type of thinking that we could not create something possibly, we would have never been out of slavery if we just had black people running around saying we ain't never going to be free. We ain't never going to be this and that. It's what you're going to get. It's what you could create down the line, not what you get in the moment. So that's what's going on with reparations in California. We have committee meetings. We're having a rally on Sunday. We're going to have speakers and things are coming along here. We're not running around talking about we hate immigrants and we can't stand immigrants and all that. That's not even in the conversation that we're having.
Yeah, but if you guys are like the serious, like,
yeah,
business, but you got a lot of clowns out here.
Right. There's a lot of clowns. And if everybody thinks that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to prop up my own channel here, but if I can, Dynast, I did do a video with some of the brothers who are intimately involved in leadership in the reparations movement in California. I did a video, and I would love to drop it in your chat room.
Go ahead. Can I ask a question? Was Tariq?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry to overtalk you.
Is Tariq Nasheed part of that conversation, that intimate conversation?
Now I'm gonna get in trouble here, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna keep it. I'm keeping it real with you because I respect you. To me, Tariq Nasheed is a quote writer. He's not. He gets on his channel and he'll say, "Hey, I'm making it popping." No, he's not. The people that's making it popping are people at the ground level, like myself, the everyday black man and woman who goes to work every day, who ain't even on YouTube. Those are the people that's making this happen. Of course, he's got the name, so he's get recognition and he can bring attention, but most of the decisions that have been made in this were at the ground level and where we have committees and organizations that are talking to the leadership about what should be in the bill. So, that's what I want to say. Do not let these prominent people on YouTube make you think that they are in the front of this. No, it's the everyday regular person. Black person.
So how often does Tariq Nasheed or this FBA, ADOS, I mean, how engaged are they with people like yourself who are serious, who are on?
It's a lineage, though. It's a lineage. So he's FBA.
I'm asking a question.
Well, let me just say this, and some people may not like what I'm going to say here. I think it was the biggest mistake to split our movement into two camps, one being FBA and one being ADOS. You just haven't learned from history, black people. When you conquer and divide yourself, there is strength in numbers and there's weakness when you divide yourself. Don't do that. And I personally think, and as people ain't gonna like this, I think that Tariq, actually, he is the obstructionist. He created this FBA term because of his personal problem he has with two people, Tone Talks and Yvette. Because he has a personal problem with them, now he created this campaign against them and came up with this FBA. But yet, ask Tariq Nasheed, what has he done with the FBA group to get to a level of what? Legislation. See, in California, we're not running around splitting ourselves into FBA and ADOS. Actually, to be honest with you, Dynast, the word that we really should be using is freemen. Not ADOS, and people ain't gonna like this. Not if you go back and look at our history, there were people who have ancestry in freemen. My great-great-grandfather was a freeman. So we should really be using that type of language, and the FBA and all these alphabet letters is splitting us. I'm sorry. If Tariq Nasheed can't give you a blueprint for his plan for how you get reparations other than just all this hype talk, then he's not doing you a good service, period. While people are talking, we got people working on this at the legislative level. That's the people you should be following, not talking heads on YouTube. And that's why you should watch my damn video, because I got the real people involved in it in California that I know personally that are on the damn video, and they're not telling you, why don't you buy my keychain or my Ugoon juice and all this other nonsense.
Information man, can I say one thing? Information man.
Hold on, TH. Let me ask you a question. So, with that being said, now, information man, are black immigrants in California, have they passed the measure to sabotage what you guys are doing? Like, have they passed the measure? Have they went to governor, I forgot his name, whatever his name is, or whoever, and said, hey, we want to be included, and try to sabotage what you're doing?
No, I'm going to be as honest as possible. I have not heard of that happening in California. Now, could people be talking about it, whispering about it amongst themselves, and people be catching on to that kind of language? That could be happening. But this is the thing. They can't do it anyway, because any money that you get out of California you have to make a claim, a legal claim based on your particular ethnic group. If you look at how law is set up in California, look at all the groups that have gotten money. They had to make it lineage based. Native Americans had to make the claim based on their lineage. Pacific Islanders, Asians, Chinese. A long time ago in California, a lot of Chinese men were not able to bring their women over here. They came over here to work on railroads and they couldn't bring their women over here. They had a claim against California at one point in time for mistreatment. It had to be lineage based. Certainly if you have people that are Jamaican or from Nigeria and something happened to them in America that was horrific, then they could make that claim within their state or California based on what happened to their particular group. And there's many groups in California that were mistreated, by the way, when they got here, and they've made these kind of claims. It's just, this is probably the first time that black people in California, in America, have woke up and say, wait a minute, let's file our appropriate claim too. So that's why I'm saying, I just don't hear in my circles, Dynast, black people in this movement in California running around talking about what the immigrants are doing to us. They can't do anything to us because it's at the legislative level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, check this out. Let me just say this.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm sorry. Now, what could happen, because they said that they're looking at the 1900s, which I really think is a mistake. They should be looking at anything before, anything around 1865, somewhere in there. Could they change this bill to include other black people who come from other parts of the world, because they're able to say, well, those black people, whether they're Caribbean or from Africa, they were here at that time too, and they got a mistreatment in California. Could that happen? Hey, anything's possible, right? But at the end of the day, I just don't see a lot of hate going on like that right now. That's not what I'm hearing in my circles. I think a lot of this talk is on YouTube with people who feel some kind of way about immigrants. And I got to be honest. Look, brother, I got to be honest here. I did a video on my channel. Black Americans are in trouble. We are in trouble. By the year 2060, Black Americans are going to disappear in America. Immigration, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, is going to have an impact, whether y'all want to agree or not. I did the video. You can look at peer research on this. This is where I got the data from. As immigration increases in California with Latinos, and as you have other immigrants coming from other parts of the world, Black Americans are going to be impacted by it. I saw the numbers, and the largest group that are growing in America, contrary to popular belief, is not Latinos. It's going to be the Asian population, and then the Latinos are going to lag right behind them. Because remember, Asians are not only Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, but it's also East Indians. There's many people who fall under that category. So Black Americans as a lineage in America, whether we like it or not, because we got to get our shit together, we are going to sort of disappear to a certain degree in terms of power. And we're in California, we have very little power anyway. They're gentrifying the hell out of us, out of San Francisco, even Oakland. So we're in a lot of trouble, Dynast. And I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that everything's peaches and cream for us. It's not. I thank you for giving me the time to speak, brother.
No, stay on. So basically in your guys' circle, which is serious, like your guys' serious circle where you're sitting down, actually passing legislation, you guys aren't sitting around all day saying, oh, the Black immigrants are doing this to us. Oh, the Black immigrants are doing that to us. Oh, this. You guys don't sit around and do that all day, correct?
No, I've been involved. I've watched the committee meetings. There was about 2 fantastic brothers that came on my channel who are intimately involved in the committee and the organizations. And they're not spending time talking about immigrants. They're talking about how to make this bill that has passed, the second part of the bill that has passed, how to make it a reality. Because right now they're trying to figure out what will be the formula to determine who's going to get it, what it's going to be, whether it's payments, whether it's restitution for things that have happened, land that's been taken. So all those things are in the mix. It's going to take a while here. It's not going to happen overnight. But now are people saying things under their breath in the privacy of their home? Or I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But just the people that I've been around, it's business. And so this is the thing, Dynast. A lot of these talking heads that you see on YouTube talking about reparations, ask them a straight up question. When's the last time you've been to a committee meeting? When's the last time you've been to a rally? I want to see how many people are going to show up to the rally that I'm going to be in and be speaking tomorrow. See what I'm saying, brother?
All right. Hold on, TH. Hold on. So, Information Man Show. So, as far as who's eligible, you know, I'm born and raised in California, roots in California. You know, grandma came from Texas to California in the 60s, I believe. So
Mhm.
how's that gonna actually work as far as who's eligible?
Well, the bottom line is you have lineage to California and you've lived here, your family's from here. So the bill is look, I'm gonna read this to you. So the task force, okay, California's task force is the first in the nation to have a task force on reparations to vote on limit state compensation to the descendants of free and enslaved black people who were in the United States in the 19 centuries. Okay. And this vote was passed was a split vote of 5-4. Okay. Over a long time of debate that they had. So Dynast, because of your family migrating and coming here to California and you having lineage here, being in high school here, you would be eligible. Just because you live in Atlanta would not make you ineligible if you got family roots here, or at least your family that still lives here in California would gain some benefit. And maybe by default, you would gain the benefit because you're from that lineage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. TH, you got a question, TH?
Yes, sir. I want to say thank you to the Information Man Show. That was very well put, very informative. So thank you so much. And Dynast, thank you for this platform, for bringing them on like that too. And,
thank you.
And the platform in general. But I just wanted to say though, like with Marcel Dixon, if you guys know who he is, he's running a freedmen's reparations campaign in South Carolina, and he credits Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, and the New Black Media for really giving him exposure. And also, I watched the California Task Board where Tariq Nasheed called in when they were trying to do some funny stuff with the eligibility stuff, and he really set them in check. And he also said he's been on the phone with them behind the scenes. So I don't want to just completely not tell the whole story about how we all need to do our part. Like even if it's me coming on here, even if it's Information Man Show doing his great job he's doing out there in California, everybody like that. But Tariq Nasheed has also, you know, rep freedmen, gave Marcel Dixon a platform, and Marcel Dixon himself, as a freedman running on a reparations platform, has given credit to Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, the New Black Media, for giving him the exposure that made his campaign possible like it is today.
Right. Let me just say this so that I know who you're talking about. That brother's been making very good points. But let me just say this: it didn't matter if Tariq Nasheed called the legislation here in California. Whatever he said to them, whether it had influence or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to tell you why. It gets back to what I said before. In California, we have laws on the book that anytime you make a claim like this, it has to be lineage based. So we didn't even need Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, any of these characters, any of these people. And I like Jason Black. He does good shit. Sometimes I listen to Tariq. Okay. But we didn't really need them to call any of these people, because under California law, it was going to be lineage based anyway, or the bill that I mentioned before, the 2296 AB bill, would have never passed into law in California as it stands right now. However, it's great that Tariq called in, but I got to be honest with you, brother, the people who really do the work, because Tariq doesn't live in Sacramento, California. The people who do the work are the ones that's on the ground, who can talk to these politicians all the time and get up in their face, not just on the phone. So as much as he has a big platform to galvanize people, it is really the people here in California that are doing the work. Because I would like to see a Jason Black who hides behind pictures, which I don't get that. And I would like to see a Tariq Nasheed. Why don't they show up to this rally that we're having tomorrow? You see what I'm saying? And put some damn boots on the ground. You see?
Can I ask a question? And I really appreciate Information Man. I appreciate the way you laid out your argument. It wasn't emotional. It was fact-based. You talked about the work that you're doing. It wasn't, this he said, she said. I completely appreciate and respect it. Absolutely. I have a question. I did see an article, and I didn't read through the whole thing, that Kamala Harris may want or does want the term freeman to expand to include Native Americans. Is that true? And can the government actually do that?
Can I interject? If so, I was going to bring. In fact, that was my next question. Thank you for bringing that up, Chrissy. So I guess this Freedmen Bureau or Freedmen's Bank that her and Janet Yellen are trying to start. They were very specific that they're going to include Native Americans and all these other groups as part of the Freedmen's Bank. And when I read the measure that you're talking about, when they said I guess African Americans, or I think it was African Americans slash freedmen. That's
Hmm.
what concerned me the minute they mentioned freedmen. But you're saying that we should be considered freedmen when you got Kamala Harris saying, "Hey,
Well,
everybody could be included into this freedmen
yeah,
bank situation." Like, what are your
yeah.
thoughts on that? Go ahead.
Well, you have to look at Kamala Harris from day one that she's gotten the White House. She's been into this inclusive stuff. So she's often talking about immigrants are undocumented people to our border. So you already know what her position is. But that's at the federal level. So they could do something at the federal level to run that type of interference to try to dilute what black people are trying to gain here. And this has happened, Dynas, and everybody on the panel, when every time black people are trying to stand up for something that we want for ourselves, they want to dilute the water and bring other groups in. Now, first of all, let me just keep it real. Do you know that Native Americans get billions of dollars annually every year? Even Obama gave them about he gave 17 Native American tribes millions of dollars. So, and remember, they are a sovereign country within our borders to themselves. So I don't understand why she would do that when it's not like Native Americans are not getting anything. They get everything. Black people get nothing. Now, this doesn't negate the fact that you have Native American reservations that are in poor condition, and you have some small groups of Native American families that control a lot of that gaming money that they're getting, right? But the Native Americans, in comparison to Black Americans in California, they're doing it in terms of getting money annually from the federal government. They're getting more money federally than Black people in California. So I personally would have a problem with Kamala doing something like that, but I can understand how they want to tread it. But that's federal. They can't do that at the state level where I'm at in California, because the Native Americans are already getting getting served by their claims already.
In
All
that
right,
case,
information
I have a
show.
question.
Okay, go ahead.
I've got a question after you as well.
Thank you for how you lay everything down. I live in California for 19 years, so
Mm-hmm.
I am quite acquainted with California.
Yes.
But based on the work that you and other people are already doing now, will you not say that it is very critical for Black Americans at this stage to start acting as a single unit? And I mean that there should be something that is being set up, since there's already a group that is fighting for reparation right now, where every single Black American start registering.
Mm-hmm.
Every single family. So at least that way you will know how many do you even have in this country. Maybe if you know every Black American that is, and that way even you can say all Black people should register. But if you're not from here, if you're not here, when the slavery are happening, we need to know where you're from, so that way we can keep track of every single person. We
Right.
have
Well,
people coming up missing. I know that is a larger goal, but if he's saying that Black Americans are all scattered all over the place,
mm-hmm.
how do you even know how many that is here? But if everybody is on that single umbrella, maybe you'll be able to track them. You already have a platform. You already have, maybe this is a conversation that and by the way, may I suggest, how about you guys start offering insurance for Black people? All Black people, you sign up here, you have insurance here. That might be a way to track everybody.
Well, may I say, ma'am, respectfully to you, and I'm not bragging, but I'm just keeping it real with you. I cover all different subject matters on my channel, and I did have a brother on a couple of weeks ago talking about insurance and health. If you look at my channel, not to be boasting here, I cover so many different subject matters around Black people being more independent, thinking clearly. I've even talked about, not too long ago, Dynas, about maybe Black people need to leave these Rust Belt states, California, and move back to the South, because if we go back to the South where our numbers are bigger, maybe we can have stronger political power and there's strength in numbers. Because if you look at every other group, that's what they do. They come together and they have strength and power in numbers. So I agree with you. We need to figure, but this is what the task force is doing, my sister. They are going to eventually, they're going to figure out a formula to determine who actually meets the lineage, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to come up with a system how to prove it out, whether it's DNA testing, whether it's being able to do family tree sort of stuff. There's a lot of technology. I'm in California where we got Silicon Valley. Believe me, there's a lot of technology where they can figure out who's here. Unfortunately, a lot of black people, let me just say this. In general, sometimes black people do not like to participate in the census in this country, which is really bad because that's how they determine how many schools you need and facilities you need, recreation and things you need for your community. And a lot of black people think that it's the government spying on you. And by default, if you live in America and you have a social security number, the government already know who your ass
they have
is.
the
So I
iPhone.
don't know why black people get all paranoid about that any damn way. But anyway, I
I
digress.
have the iPhone, so
Yeah, if you got an iPhone, they already know who you are. They can hear your damn conversations.
I'm for me personally, I say that if every black folks is under one umbrella, you can track based on your database. Why not open up, like you say, a health insurance, a life
Right.
insurance, a car insurance? That give you the power that you are talking about in terms of money.
Right.
We're paying, for example, in Maryland, the car insurance is outrageous.
Yeah, I got family in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. I liked what you just said about being in
Come
Maryland. Yeah,
I mean, I know people that pay $500 in car insurance.
right.
So what if it's black one under one umbrella that is already lineage based, right? It's already lineage, right? All that money you should go towards a black organization. So you're giving everybody insurance, they getting benefit for being part of the system.
Well, I know a brother on YouTube right now named George Makem. He lives in Philadelphia. He has an organization called Urban Nerds Worldwide. He has a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit. If you buy his merch, you're supporting what he's doing with kids, mentoring, and dealing with kids in the urban environment and helping them out. And you're going to get a tax return on your investment in his organization. You can give him $5, $6, it doesn't matter. You get a tax return, and you're also helping a black man who's working with youth. These are the sort of things that we need to do. But let me say this as I get ready to drop off the panel. At the end of the day, we are black people. What we're seeing in America is if you come from the Caribbean or from the continent of Africa, and you get out here on the streets, and we saw that with Brother Lawyer. They don't, and when the police stop us, they don't give a damn what accent you've got, where you are from the diaspora of the world. They see your black skin, and as a result of that, they will harm you just as they've been harming black people who've been born here in America. The biggest threat to this society is if we wake up one day and say, let's unite. Black Americans, black people in France, black people in Europe, black people on the continent. If we were to wake up and all unite as one and get away from our tribalism and come together, guess what? We're more of a threat together, like a big giant transformer. But the minute we fight each other, we fall right into the hands of our enemies, and they sit back and laugh and say, honey, let's pop some popcorn, and laugh just like that at us. As clearly as this laugh you're going to hear right now.
Brother, I've got a question for you, if I may ask. Thank you for differentiating the difference between the movements that are in America. I had a concept of what was going on, but you clearly differentiated it and told me the differences. So I appreciate that. You broke it down for me to understand. My question being, you said that again. How can you get Black Americans behind the reparation movements, knowing again, as you pointed out, that Black people don't generally like census? So how would you able to get the Black Americans behind this, and how would you get more people behind this movement so you can make more noise? What would be the objective? How would you achieve this?
Okay. This is where I'm going to flip it back to the question, the issue around brothers like Jason Black and Tariq. We know that black people do not usually like the census because usually you have a white person knocking at your door, and we associate the census with white society spying on black people as to how many kids we have in a household. Remember, when black women, and I'm not coming down on black women, but when black women were getting welfare, part of getting the welfare in America is that you could not have a man in the household, right? So when the census came knocking at the door, black women and black men did not want to open the door because you didn't want the census inspector to know that the man was living in the house, or that maybe you were making money under the table. Because, black people, we've always had a hustle. No matter where, it's universal. Where no matter in the world you are, we always got to hustle, right? To make that money to survive. I think we need people. This is where someone like Tariq or Jason Black or well-known black people that black people tend to feel comfortable with. This is where they should be putting their feet on the ground to organize and help black people. This is where I got to think, whether you like Yvette Carnell or Tone Talks, whether you got personal whatever problems with them, this is where we got to get away from our personal issues, because Tone Talks and Yvette, they were actually effective. They were actually effective in bringing this issue to bear, even if you don't like these acronyms that they've come up with. We need people like that who are relatable to you to get us galvanized. Because if you think about it, this whole reparations movement within the last couple of years, this wasn't galvanized by no white people knocking on your door or some damn president talking about, I'm for reparations. It wasn't galvanized by these no good for nothing, I call them coonish black politicians and an old do nothing caucus. They weren't the ones that galvanized this. It was the people on the ground being galvanized by people like Yvette, Tone Talk. And I'm going to throw Tariq in there, right? Because he's had his influence, as well as Jason Black, Professor Black, and people like that. So that's how we have the ability to do it. We just need people that we trust and that we feel have our best interests. So we can do it. We're doing it here in California. It's a small number of us, but we're getting the information out to people. Right, we're having chats like this. People, we're having a rally tomorrow. We're getting out leaflets. We're talking to people in our community. We're talking to people in our barber shops. That's where, and beauty shops. That's where we convene as black people. Our churches. So it's really what you do as an individual as well. So, but Dynas, I'll drop off the panel. If anybody has any other questions, I'll stay on. But I didn't want to I didn't want to change the whole dynamic of the channel here.
It's important that we have conversations like this because, no diss to Trey or Rich King. They'll come on, oh, the immigrants hate us and they're sabotaging us. And, oh, man, immigrants are hating us. But then guys like you are actually on the ground who are educated, who can properly articulate what's really going on. You're bringing value versus us just arguing in debate. And that's why no one's interrupting you. No one's arguing because you're bringing something of value to us that really helps.
Well, Dennis, let me say this too, brother. Are there people of the immigrant population who may show disrespect towards us? I've been on jobs with people who are from other parts of the world, and they rubbed me the wrong way. But I never sat back and say, well, this is what all folks like that come from there. That was just my bad experience with that particular person or persons. But then I've met brothers and sisters from Nigeria, South America that treated me with respect and love and told me, brother, you need to come to the country and visit. And here's my number. And then I've met people that rubbed me the wrong way. Well, guess what? I've met some Black Americans who have rubbed me the wrong way, on a job that's cooned himself out. Well, we got to figure out a way to get away from that. But I think the reason why we do this to each other is because people are not going to like what I'm going to say here. We, instead of fighting the mayonnaise man, who is our real enemy, we know if we fight against the mayonnaise man, there's certain economic and social consequences to battling him. It's easy to battle with immigrants because you don't fear the economic, the political, and social consequences. Why? Because they don't have the power to tell you when you go to work on Monday, your ass is fired. You know what I'm saying? They don't control the banking systems. So I know people don't like what I'm saying here, but it's just the truth. It's easy to go after people that don't have any power to really fight you versus people who do have power. And we know that white people in America have power. And it's a consequence when we go against them. Not that we shouldn't go against them, but it's a consequence. Would anybody agree with that point or disagree?
I agree. It happens all the time.
I agree.
I agree too as well. Like I agree that the white people and certain other groups like the Jews have a strong amount of power and control. So I do agree in that context.
For example, if I was to check, it's just as simple. If I go live on my YouTube channel today, or even at work, and I start talking about Jewish people, what do you think is going to happen to me? My channel's going to get knocked down like bam, and I'll be looking at a pink slip at work.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Indeed.
But Dynas, thank you again, brother. I'm going to drop off because I got a few things I got to do today. Okay. I appreciate this.
Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and close out as well because I gotta get some stuff done too. So
peace, everybody. Love you all. And
I'm gonna
love
email
it.
you. I gotta bring you on for a separate show. What you doing tomorrow? You free tomorrow or you got the Raleigh tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be at the Raleigh for the reparations.
Yeah,
so
but I'll email you. I gotta get
and
you
another
on.
thing
Really.
too, Dynast, I need to do a refreshed video with you on my channel and bring you back to my channel for a refreshed new look video that doesn't look like something from ancient times.
No problem.
All right, brother. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining.
Take care.
No problem. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, Family Dynasty, Search for Huru. Peace.